7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the games.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Wonder if Doc ate pizza after the game. I wonder if it helped. You know, big slice of Val's pizza. That 102-67 loss doesn't look so bad. This tastes pretty good. It couldn't have tasted that good. Nothing tastes good right now when it pertains to Husker athletics. And that makes
hey, the volleyball team's in the Sweet 16.
Okay, I'll alter that statement by saying there's nothing good in Husker men's athletics.
Oh, there you
right
go.
now.
Yeah, that's true.
At least as far as the main sports are concerned, baseball's good.
Baseball's great. Yeah.
Baseball, Big Ten champs, they're fine. Will Bolt, Lance Arbel, do whatever you've been doing because that is working. And baseball will get off the ground in February, and I'm confident that they'll be good again. But Nebraska basketball, Nebraska football, I don't know. Maybe these new coaching hires, and we'll talk a lot about that today, will work. It feels like they're getting close to being finalized as far as the Husker football hires are concerned. Nebraska basketball is just lost. They are completely lost. And I was saying to Happer and Schaefer, I don't know how you just shift course when you have – I mean, he was dejected last night. Fred Hoiberg was down.
I would be too.
And – like he had no answers down. It wasn't like he was down because they had just had a bad night and he was frustrated because they had a bad night. He's a guy that's pushing all the buttons and he has no more buttons to push. He tried the whole, basketballs in the cylinder thing, climbing up on the ladder, something like Norman Dale would try from Hoosiers. That didn't work. Nebraska, historically bad shooting the three last night. I mean, they shot 35 of them. They made 5, 14%. You almost have to try to be that bad.
They started 3 for 6 to keep going back. They finished 2 of 29.
2 of 29.
That's really hard to do.
And I think some of these guys actually can shoot. But it makes me wonder, Nebraska's three-point defense is horrific, as we know. Another record set by Michigan. They'd never made 15 threes in a game under Juwan Howard. They did it last night. And it makes you think every time somebody lines it up against Nebraska, they seem to set records shooting threes. Nebraska, bad combination. You can't shoot the three. You can't defend the three. That's kind of, you're at a loss when your whole program is built around the three-point shot. It's a 5-out system where you want guys shooting the three, between 30, 37%. I mean, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
14%. That's you just can't do anything doing that. And then you add with that the inability to rebound, the inability to play defense, the inability to want to play defense, the inability to just do anything that means effort. There's no effort on this team right now, or at least there wasn't last night. I don't think that's hyperbole. That was a disaster, what I saw last night. And I don't know how you recover from it. Maybe it's as simple as you line it up, you get a few days off. Guys were sick going into that last night's game. Maybe that's how you explain it to the guys. Hey, we were sick. It was a bad night. Erase it, go on and beat Auburn, and we're back on track.
Yeah, I just don't. I think that you're at this point, third season in. The records obviously have been bad. I think they need a philosophy change. I don't think this is a very good shooting team. I don't think this is a team, especially when you play the Michigans. You might get away with this with some of those non-con games, but when you're playing up, when you're playing guys that have horses that you don't, you're undermanned there. You have to find a way. You're not just going to outshoot them. You can't just outscore them. And that's the whole philosophy behind this. More shots, quick in the shot clock, get more shots up. That should equal more points. Well, it doesn't if you don't hit anything, and you're moving the game up so that Michigan's getting more shots than they normally do, and they're hitting everything. So I think they got to slow this thing down. I think it's at least worth an experiment. I think that they should, and a lot of people would say, at this point, how are you going to install that within 3 days of Auburn or whatever? I just think that you have to just slow this thing down, maybe put some half court sets in instead of just kind of having Alonzo Verge attack. I mean, he was the one guy that did try and had a great game last night. But I think that they have to switch things up because they're not. They might build. They might recruit to a 5-out team. They don't have the personnel for it. At least as far as how they're shooting right now, and it's 10 games in. The season's a third over. So this is kind of who you are, I believe. And I don't think they're magically going to get better like we kind of thought at the beginning of the season.
We need to get. I know Strick. Was he on with you last night, Strick? We need to get him on this show because I like what he said earlier in the season when they had a similar performance. I wouldn't even allow a basketball. You probably should do nothing but shoot basketballs. But they did that the other day. It was just shooting drill after shooting drill. It didn't pay off. You're still 5 of 35, 14%. Again, very few teams in the history of college basketball have done that.
Shot that many and made that
few. I would love to have Strick on the show to say, what would you do? What do you think his answer would be today?
Well, and we talked about it in the postgame last night. We were trying to kind of think of solutions rather than just complaining, right? Because it's easy just to do that. But, maybe it is pass the ball around. Every possession, it's 5 passes. We're going to make sure that happens. And if it gets stagnant after that, fine, give it to Virgin, let him do his thing. But before that, get 5 passes in there, and try to attack the hoop a little bit more if the three's not falling. I mean, guys like CJ Wilcher, he's got physicality. These guys have to kind of adjust, and it's a growing period. And this is not. It shouldn't look like a finished product. I know last night looked even worse, but guys like Bryce and CJ, they're young guys. They got to kind of figure out how to score other than the easy one, and that's what it is. It's just work for it, earn it, or earn that open shot. Not just kind of take whatever's there at the beginning of the shot clock. I know but that's the idea from the coaches right now is if it's open, shoot it. But now I think you have to earn those open looks. Try to move the ball around, have more guys. I mean, Verge is the only one that can create other than Webster. Try to build McGowan's in that. Try to teach Wilcher that he can be more than just a standalone 3-point shooter.
Attack the basket.
Yeah.
In fact, I think sometimes they're pretty good at that. Tamanaga is actually good at the pump fake and attacking the basket. He's pretty good on the move, distributing the basketball as he tries to go to the hoop. He's a 3-on-3 guy. I mean, that's what he did in the Olympics.
Hey, you saw the Steph Curry. You saw why they call him Steph Curry over there with one highlight. So I see that they could put a highlight together that would make me think that he's Steph Curry if you put like 10 of those in a row. But there's a reason why for years and years people didn't build around a Steph Curry because more nights than not, you're not hitting that many shots.
I know a lot of guys have the green light. I would limit the green light to just a few guys.
Yeah.
Maybe Tamanaga is one of those guys. Wilcher probably still one of those guys. But certainly Wilhelm, no. Because you haven't been close. You haven't hit the broadside of a barn, as my dad used to say. So there are certain guys that have earned that right.
And he can put it on the deck.
Yeah, he's pretty good at that. Let's take a quick call on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 464-5685. Eric, welcome to the show. Hi, Eric.
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
So I've got this is an honest question for you guys. I'm not trying to be a smart ass or anything, but I haven't been to a Nebraska basketball game since I graduated from Nebraska in 91. I don't watch them on TV. Don't know who any of the players are. Don't follow it. The only thing I ever hear about it is when I hear you, like people on your station, talk about it. What I don't understand is why, or my question is, why do you get so into it? Or how do you? Because in my entire life, from the time they played in the Coliseum to now, that program has been nothing but absolute utility. They will have good players. They'll make the tournament once in a while. They never win a tournament game.
Yeah.
They are, I mean, it's interesting to me because I see there's so many fans who show up at the game and you go in, and it's almost like you're expecting some different outcome every time these guys show up to play.
Yeah.
And then this happens, and then I listen to you like you're so upset about it, and you're like beside yourself about what the outcome is, yet you know what's going to happen. So I'm just curious why. I mean, you guys are troopers. I got to give you credit that you actually, because if it's me, I tuned this out ages ago because they're terrible.
Yeah. Well, you're smart.
So I'm just curious how you do it.
Well, we need psychological help, obviously, Eric. But I do it. I do it a lot. I really thought Hoiberg was the answer, and I still kind of do. And call me crazy because I saw him do it at Iowa State. And what's the difference between Ames and Lincoln, Nebraska, other than they win there and they don't win here? Iowa State is even back this year with a different coach. They're a top 25 team. I think they're undefeated, like 9-0. They just beat Creighton. I guess I get excited when I hear, hey, the first 5-star in Nebraska basketball history is coming here.
Oh, yeah.
To play with his brother, who's also pretty good. And that, oh, great. You got Wilhelm Breidenbach. That's a top 100 recruit. You've added a 4-star in, whoever, CJ Wilcher. You've got Tamanaga, an All-American coming from junior college who can really shoot. I get excited. When I think about the potential. I still think there is potential, but there's a disconnect. And I don't know what to say. I mean, because that was as bad as I've seen Nebraska basketball play, certainly under Hoiberg, but maybe over the last 5 years. They quit. Your head coach, and it's not saying something crazy. The head coach said you quit. If anybody would know if you quit, it's Fred Hoiberg. He watched it. I mean, he was dejected last night.
Well, I will say this to Eric, and it's a good point, and I love it. But I also have to say that's why I love sports is that if you stick with your team, through the bad, then finally when it hits,
rewarded.
The good is so great. Even the 1 year they made the tournament in 20 years, and it sounds silly to outside fans, but that was such a special ride that I'll never forget. And they didn't even win a tourney game, and they got the 11th seed. They weren't that great of a team. So it's to me, Tom, your rule is pick a team when you're 6. If you're born in Nebraska,
when you're 6,
if you go to the basketball games when you're young, they've had talent. There's guys that I grew up watching Teron Lue, guys earlier in the 90s, even recently, Tran Pedaways, James Palmers. These are all Big Ten type of guys. So it's fun to fall in love with, but I do think that I've done a better job over the years of thinking this might not turn out right. And you know what? There's something kind of comforting, and it feels like home when I could turn on the radio and listen to KP talk, call a game that doesn't matter at the end of the regular season, because that's Nebraska basketball. That's what we've always been kind of conditioned to. That's where it is. But to your point, the reason why you have hope and optimism is for different. At different times, like I said, they've under Tim Miles, they had really good luck and success in the transfer portal. Now you have a 5-star. You have a coach that's has done everything from the NBA level down to the college level. And maybe we shouldn't expect great, but you can expect more than this. You had to expect more than this. If you look at Hoiberg's record, and I'll pull it up at this point. It's just almost unfathomable that it has gone this poorly 3 years in, and a lot of people are just kind of feeling like this looks like another year one type of thing, even though you had a lot of some of the same players returning from last year.
I don't think it's crazy to expect Nebraska to be a top 10 team in their own conference, which will get you into the NCAA tournament, and maybe you could win a game because people do it all the time, and yet Nebraska is still the only team that's never won an NCAA tournament game. At least they had Northwestern as buddies for a while, and then Northwestern went and finally won a tournament game. I've seen them when they were good, 26-8 under Danny Nee.
Yeah.
I know it's 90-91. It was a long time ago. But they've been close. They've been on the cusp. They've been on the precipice. And nobody can tell me to give up. I mean, you could tell me that. I mean, why are you still banging your head against the wall, watching this stupid team that does the same thing time after time again and expect different results? You're crazy. And I think maybe I am. That's what the definition of a Nebraska basketball fan is. You're nuts.
You are.
You're
but
pretty
again,
much nuts.
If you're just a fan of the Patriots and the Lakers and you know, and all the Yankees and you take joy out of just winning and sure you'll get that, but I'm telling you, you won't know the same amount of joy you will if you follow a terrible team that finally hits it. I mean, the joy is a lot more than just watching teams that win annually because they have built-in advantages being able to win.
But right now, it is literally torture. It's torture watching a Husker football game. It's torture watching a basketball game. I mean, you're paying money to be tortured right now. I'm sitting down last night thinking, you know what? This is probably not going to end well. And I picked Nebraska to win. After the first 5 minutes, I could see they were not going to win.
Yeah.
And I was literally being tortured in my seat for an entire half. 51 points later, Michigan had won the game. And I got up from my seat and I said, I'm no longer going to take this for tonight. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back for more torture. But for tonight, it's over. And I went home and got tortured and watched it at home on TV. So I just don't know what to say other than I'm never giving up. They're my team. But I understand where Eric is coming from. Totally. 464-5685. Let's talk some more torture. Husker basketball with Chris Bassett. We'll also broach the potential hires. It looks like they're finalizing these hires. Mark Whipple, of course, the big one, offensive coordinator from Pittsburgh. Donovan Raiola looks to be the offensive line candidate. You already had Mickey Joseph, and maybe Bill Bush would round out the four coaches, and he would be your special teams coordinator. We'll ask Chris Bassett about it. Certainly talk some Husker basketball. We'll do it coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
I'm Steve Carper, and I'm here to tell you that there's never been a better time to buy flooring. Whether you need carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you got to come to O Street Carpet. With our 12-month interest-free financing, you can do one room or your whole house and leave your holiday budget intact. And with our huge in-stock selection, you can buy today and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonzal Pool & Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonzal Pool & Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonzal Pool & Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better.
Go ahead, let it sleet, let it slush, and let it snow. Because the pros at T.O. Haas Tire are ready to help you with a new set of tires guaranteed to get you through it all. Like the complete line of Michelin tires, including the X-Ice Snow Tire. And right now, you can get $70 back when you buy any 4 new Michelin tires at the T.O. Haas Tire near you.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Smoothbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies expected here for our Wednesday. We'll top out near 48 with a west-southwest wind at 10 to 15. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Maybe a few sprinkles around the area. A low down to around 34. Decreasing cloud cover tomorrow with a high of 53. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win, too, by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
This year, give the gift of delicious food, incredible service, and a lasting memory with the Pillar Restaurant Group gift card. Our holiday gift card special is back. When you purchase a $50 gift card, receive a $5 bonus card, or purchase a $100 gift card to receive a $20 bonus card. These cards can be used at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, Cactus, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Available for purchase at any of our concepts or online at prgnebraska.com.
Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hardworking, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagency.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In girls basketball, number 5 Lincoln Southwest won over number 4 Bellevue East 47-38. Kennedy Williams led all scores with 15 points and came up big on both sides of the court as a two-way player. On Saturday in boys basketball, Lincoln Southeast fell to Bellevue West 80-58. Lincoln High lost in double overtime to Columbus 76-72. Colin Nick for East would finish the game with 20 points. Lincoln East also lost this week to Creighton Prep 54-51. Creighton Prep scored on a three-pointer with 1 second left to seal the game. Lincoln North Star coasted to a win over South Sioux City 71-4. Lincoln Northeast won over Papillion La Vista 63-57. Lincoln Pius won over North Platte comfortably 61-41. Lincoln Lutheran lost to Norfolk Catholic 53-37. Norris won over Northwest 52-36. And Waverly beat Elkhorn 45-24. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock. I'm Tom Stevens. He's Jake Bachhoven. Tough to recover from last night, but we're trying. Nebraska loses to Michigan. I think the most points scored at PBA by an opponent, 102-67. One of the largest margins of victory as well, 35. I think Nebraska once beat a team by 36. But none of it was good. So we get Chris Basted here of the Lincoln Journal-Star to try to explain it. Terrible shooting performance, 5 of 35. It's what they do. It's not like it's something they'll go away from anytime soon, right, Chris?
Well, they might have to if they're not going in. You can't shoot 35 of them a game when you're just about the worst three-point shooting team in the country. It doesn't work. And Fred's a big analytics guy. Fred Hoiberg's a big analytics guy. You don't need a lot of analytics to tell you that this team can't shoot right now. I mean, we try to make this game hard, and there's a lot of ways to make it hard. But right now for Nebraska, it's simple. They can't make shots, and it's affecting every other part of their game. So, yeah, you can't stop shooting threes completely, especially the way the game is played today. You can't do that. But 35 attempts tells you a couple things. One, it tells you it's a team that's desperate to see the ball go in. Two, it tells you that was a team that, like Fred said last night, quit competing. Because if you're shooting 35 threes, you're just basically going down and chucking it up at that point. You're not trying to get into the lane, draw contact, any of those things. So, yeah, I mean, you're not going to stop shooting them completely. Like you said, that's what Fred Hoiberg teams do. But you got to figure something out pretty quick.
Do you think that they have the personnel to kind of mess with, to change it and maybe play more of a half-court offense, slow down the shot clock, that sort of thing? I know that's ultimately like kind of anti-Fred, but maybe at some point go away from the philosophy and coach to the roster you have, and more importantly, not just the roster you have, but the roster, kind of the streaks they're on and how they're, because they have a lot of shooters, they're just not shooting well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm stuttering because I'm at a loss for words, just like you guys are. I thought this roster was built to shoot the ball better. I thought this roster is filled with guys that are known as spot up shooters, and it's not filled with a lot of guys that can create their own shot. You've essentially got Alonzo Verge and Bryce McGowan's, and maybe a little bit of Kobe Webster and Trey McGowan's if he was healthy, which of course he's not. And the rest of those guys are essentially spot up shooters or post players. So yeah, does Nebraska try to go to a half court game? I don't know. They might have to. I think you need to slow the pace down and then figure something out and try and run more sets offensively just to get something going. But at the end of the day, the ball's got to go through the basket. It doesn't matter if you're a half court team or if you're a pace and space team. The ball has to go through the big ass hoop, as Fred Hoiberg called it a couple of days ago. And right now it's not. And again, we can make this game hard, but sometimes it's simple. And right now Nebraska they simply can't shoot no matter what speed or what pace they play at.
Yeah. Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star, our guest. I can't see Hoiberg going away from his own identity. It's what he does, but maybe he adds something to it, or maybe you give the green light to a guy like Tamanaga or Lat Mayon, who you just feel eventually will get hot, or CJ Wilcher. But it's got to be fewer guys shooting threes, because sometimes it looks like Wilhelm Breidenbach doesn't even want to take the three, but it's a part of the system, but he's got to take it.
Yeah, and you mentioned green light. I think that's part of the problem. I think every single player on that team has the green light, and nobody can make it right now. So who do you tell to stop shooting? Do you say, sorry, Wilhelm, we don't want you shooting anymore, even though that's part of why we brought you here? Or sorry, CJ, I know we brought you here to shoot threes, but you need to dial it back. We don't want you shooting as much, or same with Lat, or same with Casey. I don't know how you do that when that's what you brought them here to do. It's not like you brought Casey Tominaga here because he can go play great defense on the other team's best guard. And that's not to knock Casey, because he plays hard on defense. He does the best he can, but he's not a great defensive player. He was brought here because he's an elite shooter. And it's the same kind of thing, I think, with CJ Wilcher a little bit too. And a lot of those guys. So yeah, I don't know if there is a good answer right now. I don't know how you figure that out. And that's why Fred Hoiberg's making a lot of money, because he's got to figure it out. Because we saw it last night and we heard it last night after the game. This season's it's crazy just to say this season's on the brink and we're only 10 games into it.
Yeah. Jumping over to football, it looks like they're about to make it official, if they have not yet, the hire of Mr. Whipple from the Pittsburgh Panthers. What do you think that Whipple can bring to this offense for Nebraska? Seems to be more of a passing. Maybe a pro style type of set. Do you think this is a good fit?
Yeah, I think it is for a couple of reasons. One, it's a guy that's been coaching for a long, long time. He's got 4 decades of experience, and in addition to what he's going to be able to do with Nebraska's offense, he can be a guy that I think can come in and mentor Scott Frost a little bit, and kind of help him through some of the things that a head coach has to do. We saw what Pittsburgh's offense did this year with Whipple at the helm. That went from a team that wanted to run it, 3 yards in a cloud of dust a few years ago, and they brought in Mark Whipple, and now they've got one of the best quarterbacks in the country, one of the best receivers in the country, one of the best red zone offenses in the country 3 years later. So, I'm not saying Mark Whipple's going to get 3 years, probably not, if things don't go great next year, but there's going to be some changes. I think you might see a more wide open, a more varied passing attack, and that certainly doesn't hurt if you're Nebraska, especially if you can find the right quarterback to run it. So, yeah, there will certainly be changes. I think there's certainly going to be elements of the Scott Frost offense that will continue to remain. What those look like, we'll see. But you're bringing this guy in because you want fresh ideas and a fresh approach, and certainly he's going to bring that.
So Mickey Joseph is locked up as the wide receivers coach. You have Donovan Raiola, the offensive line coach. You mentioned Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator. But it's not like Whipple can bring Kenny Pickett with him. So a new quarterback is going to be running this offense. It doesn't feel like we could just turn on Pittsburgh highlights, and that's what Nebraska's offense is going to look like next year with a different quarterback, right?
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's you've got to find the guy that can run it. And is that Logan Smothers? Is that Henrik Harburg? Is that somebody from the transfer portal? Who knows? I think hiring an outside guy like Scott Frost has done all but guarantees that Nebraska's probably bringing in at least one quarterback from the transfer portal, and maybe more than that better fits what Mark Whipple wants to do on offense. And I think that's going to be the kind of the next interesting step in all this, is to see what the quarterback room starts to look like here over the next couple of weeks and months as we approach the early signing day and moving forward and things like that. So yeah, it's one thing to turn on the film and watch Kenny Pickett chuck it all over the place, but as far as we know, Kenny Pickett isn't sitting in that quarterback room over at Memorial Stadium right now. So yeah, that's going to be a fascinating thing to kind of look for here over the next few weeks.
What do you think about the choice for the offensive line coach, Donovan Raiola? Obviously, Raiola is a huge name around Husker Nation, and everybody will always love Dominic. But, Donovan, I don't know. It just maybe seems like a little underwhelming, maybe reaching out for Dylan Raiola 3 years from now. I don't know if the staff will even be around for then. So it just seems kind of odd. I kind of thought they were going to go the veteran route with the offensive line since it was so bad last year.
Yeah, it's an interesting hire, and who knows how it's going to work out again. This guy might only be here for a year or maybe two, depending on how things go over the next season, and we'll see. But I think Steve Sipple kind of touched on it in his column for today. That's a guy that understands what O-line play is about. He understands what you need to be successful in O-line play. His brother obviously was one of the great players in Nebraska history. He played on the offensive line in college at Wisconsin, which of course has a great tradition of offensive linemen. So I think from that point of view, there's an understanding of how it needs to look. Now, can he coach it how it needs to be coached so that Nebraska can get there? I think we kind of have to wait and see on that. That's the big thing. And, outside of the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach is going to be the most important hire Scott Frost made. And so, yeah, there's probably some question marks there. It's probably not a name a lot of people thought of going into this, but it's who Nebraska has, and now it's his job to try and make it work.
Chris Bassinet of the Lincoln Journal-Star covers Nebraska football, baseball, basketball. I want to ask you about the final hire. They still need probably a special teams coach. Nebraska among the worst in special teams throughout the country this year. Did they go with Bill Bush or somebody else, you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. You need a special teams coordinator and you need a running backs coach too. So does Ron Brown become an analyst and coach running backs? Do you hire him as a full-time running backs coach and kind of continue on the same path as you have with special teams? Don't know what you do there. I've said this before to you, Tom. I agree with you. I think they need to hire a special teams coach, and Bill Bush is a pretty obvious candidate. A guy that's a great recruiter, a guy that's from Nebraska that loves the state, loves living here. That seems like the obvious choice to me. He's already in-house and familiar with how things run in that program. Could it be somebody else? Could it be, Sean Snyder? Could it be the guy from Virginia? We'll see. I don't know. Do they even go that direction? It's obviously the last piece that needs to be figured out, and it's a pretty big one. We know that special teams has cost Nebraska games over the past 4 years, and they need to get it fixed. So yeah, we'll see what direction it goes.
It's a great time to be a Husker football, basketball fan, right?
Yeah, there's nothing better, right? We're not at all anxious for baseball to start or anything like that. It's just a fun time. Right,
baseball will be here before you know it, February, and you'll be off and running with more stuff to cover. Good stuff, Chris. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Chris Bassinet of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Let's get the break. Come back with Rico Suave next on the Blog Jock.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonzal Pool and Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonzal Pool and Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonzal Pool and Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better.
One-on-one with DP.
What's been the difference? I think it's a system that I formed for myself. And it didn't start here. Like we've talked about my history. I've played with Michael Porter and Trey Young and and I played with these guys, and I started playing basketball when I was 8th grade, and I was the tallest dude, and I've just accepted it. I've learned to be okay with it, and I've just made it work for me.
Weekdays from 3 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies expected here for our Wednesday. We'll top out near 48 with a west-southwest wind at 10 to 15. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Maybe a few sprinkles around the area. A low down to around 34. Decreasing cloud cover tomorrow with a high of 53. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Steve Carper, and I'm here to tell you that there's never been a better time to buy flooring. Whether you need carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you got to come to O Street Carpet. With our 12-month interest-free financing, you can do one room or your whole house and leave your holiday budget intact. And with our huge in-stock selection, you can buy today and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win too by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljob.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for maintenance techs. They have needs for the 10B shift, Tuesday through Friday from 5:30 p.m. to 3:30 a.m., the 12A shift, Saturday through Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and the 12B shift, Saturday through Monday from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Minimum 2 years experience in a fast-paced industrial environment is recommended to apply, and pay is based on experience. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Give yourself a gift this year and let Liberty First Credit Union help you spread holiday cheer. With many loan options to show, it's off to Liberty First you go. Whether shopping for you or gifts to put under the tree, a loan from Liberty First can make you shout with glee. Log on to libertyfirstcu.com for more information and spend the holidays in a state of relaxation. Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose. Equal opportunity lender. Let them help you with your purchase.
Happer and Schaefer.
Over the first 3 years, they've had it a very specific way, just as far as how they use the tennis system. Offensive coordinator / wide receivers coach. So I'll be curious to see how they kind of reshuffle that, if they reshuffle it all. If they don't, I think that'd be kind of disappointing. You don't want to put different guys in the same type of roles. The whole point of doing this is reshuffling the deck.
Yeah, the whole point of doing this is to free Scott Frost up to do other things.
Right.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This year, give the gift of delicious food, incredible service, and a lasting memory with the Pillar Restaurant Group gift card. Our holiday gift card special is back. When you purchase a $50 gift card, receive a $5 bonus card, or purchase a $100 gift card to receive a $20 bonus card. These cards can be used at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, Cactus, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Available for purchase at any of our concepts or online at prgnebraska.com.
Grab yourself a hot dog, pour a glass of eggnog, and settle in. This is the Blog Shop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm going to bring in some eggnog for the blog jog next week and make Rico drink it.
Yes, especially if the Knicks lose. Maybe I'll have a bet.
That's right. If the Knicks lose, he has to drink a big glass of eggnog.
Or the Patriots. Patriots might lose, too.
Patriots have a bye week, so they're not losing.
Yeah, if they don't win. Maybe if they don't win.
That's not how this works.
You normally don't want a bye week this late in the season, but for the Patriots, it's perfect.
I would take a bye week after the game that they just played, and the fact that they have the Colts afterwards and the Buffalo Bills again right after the Colts.
Yeah.
2 physical teams back to back. I think this bye week is needed.
Great analysis by Rico Alvarez Clary, who also performs the blog jog on our show.
It's true.
What's on the
It's true.
What's on the blog jog today?
Some stuff and some things.
Excellent.
Can I first say that I am sad for not just because Nebraska lost, but because I was at the game.
Yeah, with me. You were sitting next to me.
I was at the game for like the first time in forever, and that is what I had to watch. So that was cool.
You pointed out the seat that you had sat in, but you only went to one other game, right?
Yes. Only one game
you
previous.
You were in 308, and I was looking way up there, and I was thinking, "Don't jump, Rico!" But he was sitting next to me.
It was a sad time.
Because last night I would have thought about it.
I like how they've at least changed that when the crowd filters out, they have to walk up the stairs instead of crowding the court. That looks good. You don't see that on TV as well. By the way, that was part of the reason it was so embarrassing. This was ESPN2. This was the opportunity to show yourself to the nation, and that's what they saw.
National television.
I think who was on the broadcast last night? I watched the end of that broadcast, and they were like into their.
I think
filler.
Robbie Hummel was on.
Robbie Hummel, that was it, right? And he was into his filler material way early.
Pretty early.
It was sad. It was just very sad. It was a sad night.
It was.
But I'm gonna get over it. I'll be fine. I'm gonna use this show as therapy, and Rico's blog jog as well. What's up?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
First story comes from The Guardian. Camels enhanced with Botox are barred from a Saudi beauty contest.
So they have beauty contest for camels in general, huh?
Beauty contest for camels. Yeah, this is a big thing. So it's a camel festival that they do, and they try to find the most beautiful camel. And
I guess they can have like long eyelashes or something. I don't know how a camel gets beautiful other than
This is
that.
in Saudi Arabia.
Yep, and you win $66 million in prize
Oh
money.
my God! I'm gonna go buy a camel right now.
I don't know that there are a lot of camels being sold in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You can see them at the zoo. The children's zoo has them. You can feed them.
Yeah, some of these camels are getting Botox, facelifts, and other cosmetic alterations to make them more attractive. Jurors decide the winner based on the shape of the animal's heads, necks, humps, dress, and postures.
When was the last time you went by a camel and said, "That's one good-looking camel"?
That is an attractive camel.
If he smokes cigarettes, I'm impressed.
That's right.
Stands on 2 legs and smokes cigarettes.
You would think that would be an ad campaign. You can't have. Back when I was growing up, you could actually have cigarette commercials on TV.
Yeah, that's right. And fun characters to go along with.
But I don't ever remember a camel smoking a cigarette
Oh,
for
yeah.
camel cigarettes.
Yeah, they really could have worked on that. Fun fact, camels, along with donkeys and horses, are probably among the 3 most important animals in human history. Because before there were highways, of course, they would transport everything.
There's your history lesson from Bock today.
Funner fact: when camels get too hot, they just puke up their stomachs.
Why do you know that?
I don't know.
When they get too hot, they puke out their stomachs?
Yeah.
Do they eat it back so they can have a stomach
they
later?
just swallow it again.
Oh, okay. That's pretty gross.
That's really disgusting.
They also do that to like show their dominance or like try to attract a
Oh yeah, sure. That's pretty. No wonder why they have these competitions for how
they're just like
how gorgeous
and then
these
it just
guys
like
are.
hangs there, and then they're just like bloop.
We've said it before. Rico knows a little about a lot of different things, but very little.
Very little. And even then, some of the things that I know could be mistaken for.
That's right.
Just sticks in his brain, but it's really very useful.
And then it mixes with other facts, and it's just like, that's not right.
They can't possibly rewrite.
I'm mixing 2 animals together.
Yeah, that's okay. As long as we get an animal story, and we got one.
Well,
We
you're
got a
getting
camel.
2.
Oh, this is great.
This one comes from todayonline.com. A visitor to a Singapore botanical garden was bitten 26 times by otters.
Why were they biting him?
They don't know. They say it's very rare for them to do that. Normally, they're very friendly around
otters
people.
are extremely friendly.
They ganged up on him, though.
But they ganged up on him. They they jumped him and like held him down and bit him 26 times in 10 seconds.
Did they bite? Does it hurt? Like, is this a
They have
bad
very
bite?
sharp teeth.
Yeah.
He had to go to the hospital and get stitched up. He says one of his friends or somebody that was running by like saved him from the otters. He was just going on a walk, and the otters were like, "That guy."
No, he's going down.
That would be kind of cool to fight 26 otters, though. That'd be kind of fun.
Would you rather fight
I don't
an
know about
otter
that
or a seal?
An otter or a seal?
It was 20
in general?
otters.
Oh, 20 otters.
Yeah, that seems very uncharacteristic that an otter would do that. Because they're very lovable.
Yeah,
Like this guy.
those are the guys that lay on each other's, like lay on their backs and hold hands and stuff while they're swimming. Is that otters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hold hands when they fall
They
asleep
look
so they
so
don't
cute.
drift apart.
Yeah, they're so cute.
There's
It's
another
like,
animal fact. They also use rocks to open their food. They get like shellfish.
That's right.
And they'll, like,
Again, animal facts. This is great stuff.
Have you ever seen them or
Smart.
like raccoons? For some reason, they dip their food in water.
Raccoons always wash their food before they eat
Yeah.
it. So somebody gave a raccoon cotton candy.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Dipped it in some water, it disappeared, and it was very sad. It was a very sad raccoon.
See, this is what we're looking for on the blog talk. This makes me happy. This is all good stuff. Thank you, Rico.
Hey, no problem.
Appreciate
Also,
it.
remember that guy that like burned his house down?
Oh, yeah,
because
there's
of
one
the
more
snakes?
story. Okay, yeah.
Well, this one happened in Colorado. It wasn't snakes. It was a guy who burned part of his mother's house down using a flamethrower to get rid of cobwebs.
Oh, wow.
He then spent an hour before he called the authorities trying to put the fire out by himself.
Oh yeah, you have to do that first.
It did not work.
I've started fires before, and then you get all panicked, like, "Oh my, I
Yeah.
think the fire truck's gonna have to come here if I don't."
I gotta stop this.
Throw a
And you're
bunch
like,
of water.
It
on
doesn't seem
Yeah.
like a bad idea when you hear it in your head. Well, how do I get rid of these cobwebs? Well, use a flamethrower would be one way to do it.
It's not your house. What's the worst that could happen?
$100,000 in damages.
Yeah,
By
everybody
the way,
makes
mom's not
mistakes.
happy.
By the way, the text line didn't get that we were joking. We know about Joe Camel. That
we
was
do.
the whole bit.
Yeah,
I think.
that was the whole bit. Let's get to the break. Come back with box tops today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the top 10 players in Nebraska basketball history that could help this team shooting wise. The best 3-point shooters in Nebraska history.
Yeah, they struggle to shoot threes. Historically bad. 5 of 35 last night. If we could add just a few 3-point shooters, maybe some of the best in Nebraska basketball history, maybe that could help.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two have some eligibility left. We'll check into that, and we'll do box tops coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies expected here for our Wednesday. We'll top out near 48 with a west-southwest wind at 10 to 15. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Maybe a few sprinkles around the area. A low down to around 34. Decreasing cloud cover tomorrow with a high of 53. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go ahead, let it sleet, let it slush, and let it snow. Because the pros at T.O. Haas Tire are ready to help you with a new set of tires guaranteed to get you through it all. Like the complete line of Michelin tires, including the X-Ice Snow Tire. And right now, you can get $70 back when you buy any 4 new Michelin tires at the T.O. Haas Tire near you.
T.O. Haas, Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljob.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe. Early break with Sip and Jake.
But why is Nebraska not a hungry program? Why does Michigan come in with hunger? Where's the hunger? Where's the Nebraska doesn't play like a hungry team. Even on its best nights, it doesn't look like a very hungry team. Right?
No.
They're not killers.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Happer and Schaefer.
Over the first 3 years, they've had it a very specific way, just as far as how they use the 10 assistant offensive coordinator / wide receivers coach. So I'll be curious to see how they kind of reshuffle that, if they reshuffle it all. If they don't, I think that'd be kind of disappointing. You don't want to put different guys in the same type of roles. The whole point of doing this is reshuffling the deck.
Yeah, the whole point of doing this is to free Scott Frost up to do other things.
Right.
Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for maintenance techs. They have needs for the 10B shift Tuesday through Friday from 5:30 p.m. to 3:30 a.m., the 12A shift Saturday through Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and the 12B shift Saturday through Monday from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Minimum 2 years experience in a fast-paced industrial environment is recommended to apply, and pay is based on experience. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Coppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans. And when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
Welcome. Hour number 2. Tom and Bock. Tom Stevens here. Jake Bockoven there. Happier than a camel on Wednesday. By the way, Joe Campbell, we knew that. We were just kidding. Come on. Joe Campbell, of course, the famous Campbell for Camel cigarettes, had a cigarette sticking out the side of his mouth.
He made cigarette smoking look cool.
That's right. It was very cool. My dad used to smoke the no-filter Pall Malls.
Oh, yeah.
Tough guy cigarettes.
That's a man's cigarette right there.
He always had one in his ear and one in his mouth. He was ready to go.
Was he a pack a day or a couple packs a day?
I think he was at least a pack a day and sometimes 2 packs a day, depending on. And he had the thing, like he would wear the T-shirt and roll up the cigarette into the T-shirt.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, it was a tough guy. Look, he was an ex-Marine. My dad was very tough, unlike me.
Yeah, what happened? What happened to you?
I didn't get that. I mean, he was a tough guy.
Didn't your siblings turn out to be pretty tough, or just didn't pass down?
Brother Doug. Doug's big, and I wouldn't fight him. That's for sure. Doug's also in the military, National Guard. I would say he's the toughest of the brothers.
He sounds pretty tough.
I used to play football with my brothers, and they would just beat the crap out of me, and they were much bigger than I. So Dan's not as tough as Doug, but he thinks he is. I would say I'm the least tough of the 3 boys.
You would
then
lose
I have
the
2
fight.
sisters as well.
Yeah.
But my dad was tough. And he was not a big guy. He was like 5'9", maybe 150. But nobody ever messed with him. He was one of those guys. You don't mess with him.
That's some of the best fighters in the world. I'm not saying he's one of the best fighters in the world, or as toned as some of those guys. But it's always kind of funny when you watch the UFC or something, and you go, "Man, those guys look huge," and they're like, "All right, this guy weighs in at 125." And you're like,
my dad never really got promoted in his job because he was always doing he fixed air conditioners and heaters and like stoves for Sengas back in the day, and then Minigasco. It became a bunch of different things. He once kicked his boss in the shin because he called him Shorty. And my dad was really mad that his boss had called him Shorty, and he kicks him in the shin, and he didn't get fired.
He didn't?
I think the guy was afraid of him.
That's one way not to get fired. Is
Yeah,
threaten your boss.
My dad was a different cat, but he was partly he was really good at his job, and so they didn't fire him. So that really helped him as far as I think that's basically what happened. Let's see. Hoiberg said some things about Nebraska basketball that are a little disconcerting. Where do you go from here? That's one of the big ones. I think that he's really fighting today. What direction do you change styles? He was asked that.
I'm gonna consider everything the next 2 days.
He was distraught. He was like looking for answers, and I don't think he has them right now, because his whole philosophy is based on making baskets, shooting the ball. But when it doesn't go through the hoop, obviously this team struggles to play defense, defend the three, and at times they quit last night. I mean, he said it. They quit last night. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. But we'll talk more about it a little bit later on. Hoping to have Jack Pierce on, who recruited Mickey Joseph. He was an assistant. He was a lead recruiter for Nebraska football back in the 90s during that 60-2 run. And a lot of guys from Louisiana, including Mickey Joseph, he recruited. Leroy Etienne is one. Neil Smith is another. Great recruiter. Maybe the best recruiter. No, the best recruiter in Nebraska football history. He's got great recruiting stories. I love some of them. Maybe he'll tell the one where he's with Tom Osborne and they're recruiting Leroy Etienne. It was a pretty good story. I don't want to give it away, but he's got some great stories, and I hope he shares, especially the one about Mickey Joseph, a little bit later on. Are we about ready for box tops?
I think we're ready.
What's the topic today?
Basically the top 10 Husker 3-point shooters of all time. Really just some names that could really help out this system. Maybe be really good in a 5-out system.
All right.
Or help this team out.
Go ahead. I don't have the sounder yet, but go ahead. There you go. Bock. Go ahead.
All right. Top 10 guys in Husker history that can help this team out in their 5-out system and their 3-point shooting. Let's start with number 10, Walt P for 3. And I'm specifically meaning sophomore Walter Pitchford. Junior Walter Pitchford didn't hit very well. But sophomore Walter Pitchford, 48 of 117. And that was good for 41% on the year. And they would usually dial up the first play almost of every game was a Walter Pitchford 3, and it would usually go in.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to play that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I thought he was maybe the best tall shooter that I've seen in recent history.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 6'10".
Yeah, and everybody got the complaint that he was soft and he wouldn't go in. But he was a 3-point shooter. He had it in his Twitter name. Yeah. That's what he wanted to do.
He and Pettaway on the pick and roll were really good.
Oh, yeah.
And that first year together, when they made the NCAA tournament, lost to Baylor in the first round. And then Pitchford didn't come back after that. Man.
Well, he came back the next year. Him and Siobhan Shields.
Was it the third year he didn't come back? Okay.
Well, he declared himself for the NBA draft.
Yeah, that's right.
He did.
Okay.
He ended up playing some G League ball, but in any case, it was just. I mean, that was so almost as frustrating as this type of team where you thought you knew you had shooters because you saw Walter Pitchford and Siobhan Shields do it the year before. Walter was like a 40% shooter, as I mentioned, his sophomore year. And Siobhan was like somewhere around 30, and then they dropped to like 26 and 20% the next year. They just couldn't hit anything. And Tran Pettaway had to kind of just take over the whole offense. I guess somewhat similar to Lonzo Verge is doing now.
Yeah, Walter, again, maybe the best tall shooter in Nebraska basketball history.
Maybe. I've got some other guys down the list. We'll see
if they can compete.
Number 9 on my list, how about Marcus Perry, a career 39% shooter. He hit 67 in 2007 3-point shots. That was tied for 10th all time at Nebraska. I thought he was maybe, he was never like the best player on the team, or maybe kind of gets overlooked, but I wouldn't mind having Marcus Perry as a 3-point shooter on this team.
Barry Collier, was that the Barry Collier era?
So.
Yeah, I believe so. He was a really good shooter, actually. Very good shooter.
How about number 8 on my list, Chris Cresswell from 1990 to 1992. He hit 103 career threes at a 40% clip.
That's a good pick. He was basically, that's all he did. I mean, some of these guys are a little more versatile than Chris Cresswell was, but Chris Cresswell under Danny Nee was pretty good. It was basically one job, shoot threes.
For number 7 on my list, again, I'm being very specific. You have to block out some of the career like we did with Walter Pitchford. Number 7 on my list, freshman Joe McCray. Freshman Joe McRae had the 5th best single season total of threes with 80 in 2005. And he was given the green light to shoot whenever he wanted to. He hit some deep ones.
He had a great freshman year.
Oh, yeah.
Under Barry Collier. And then he went home and kind of ate himself out of the league.
Yeah.
He came back way overweight, and he was never the same.
And it's sad because, I mean, if you could have picked Alex March, is probably the best player maybe of that decade, and he was in the same class as Joe McRae. If McRae could have stayed on that pace, I think probably would have had a tournament team or two near the second half of their careers, but he kind of just by the end of his sophomore season, he wasn't on the team.
And March was really good about, you'd feed it into him, but then he would kick it back out to guys like McRae. March was really good, kind of similar to Hoppen, spacing the floor. And that's almost what I think Nebraska needs, is a big guy, kind of like a Marich that they could throw it into and work from the inside out.
Boy, it's certainly helping that league. I do like watching 7-1 guys play in college, like we saw last night from Hunter Dickinson. It's fun when they play in the pros against 7-footers, don't get me wrong, to see that sort of battle, but I do kind of like the mismatch aspect of it too.
Nebraska's never had a guy like Hunter Dickinson.
No,
never.
And he's addressing his 3-point shot. Everybody was expecting him to go to the NBA last night. Or last year, and then the last couple of games he's been hitting threes. So adding that to his game, I think that will definitely help him become a high pick in the NBA draft next year.
I guess he only made 1 of 3 last night, but it looks good coming off his hands.
It was 3 of 3 the previous game. Number 6 on my list. How about Teron Lue? Of course, he can do it all, but a 3-point shooter as well. He hit 78 threes in 1998. That's top 10 in all time in a single season. Actually, he is top 10 all time in career threes, despite leaving early. If he would have stayed another year, he'd be higher on the list. But Teron Lue, certainly you could use him in any system, but certainly in this one as well.
Like, he could just score. I mean, he could just score. He could take over a game and score, whether it was from 3, 2. That guy was amazing, and of course left early. I wonder. I always wanted him to stay one more year in Nebraska, but that guy could just score. But from 3-point range as well.
I think there was one year he led the NBA actually in 3-point percentage.
Did he really?
I think
I did not know that.
I'll have to double check. Number 5 on my list. How about Ryan Anderson? He always played out of position, but he was always good at 3-point shots. 3rd in the Nebraska career 3-point category with 185. He was a career 39% 3-point shooter, and I always remember him in the corner threes. He was especially good at those.
And they beat Creighton one year with him. So that was always, I always have fond memories of any player that beat Creighton.
That's right. And whenever we bring up Ryan Anderson, we have to mention he can also play the piano very well.
And sing.
He's one of the more altogether more talented Huskers.
Yeah, that's right.
Number 4 on my list. How about Brian Conklin, single season 3-point record holder with 50? He hit 56% of his threes in 2004. His career, he also has the career record for percentage with 43%.
So he probably was a little bit better than Walter Pitchford.
Yeah. At least at 3-point shooting.
And he was another guy that probably the tallest, best 3-point shooter would be Conklin. But he never gained weight. I remember he was like 6'11", 6'10", and he weighed 200 pounds.
But those teams were fun too, because a little later down, spoiler list, Kerry Cochran's also on the list. He was on those teams. They had like Wes Wilkinson, so they had some good height, but not necessarily bangers down low. But they had some 3-point shooting on those teams.
I remember talking to Barry Collier about Brian Conklin, and they were always trying to put weight on him. They would set an alarm for like 3 a.m. so he would get up and eat peanut butter sandwiches.
It didn't really ever work.
And it never worked. I think he left here at 200 pounds.
But you wonder what those type of players like Conklin or Cohorn, how would their games translate to now, where it's just everybody shooting as many threes as you want? Back then, it's like, let's orchestrate 3 or 4 threes for these guys a game.
Right. Yeah. And some of those Collier teams were pretty good 3-point shooting teams.
Yeah. Number 3 on my list. I know we didn't like him too much, but he certainly would help. Andrew White III. He has he's second all time for the single season record at Nebraska with 87 threes in 2016. Of course, I think he went on to set some records at Syracuse too.
Yeah. And he was he lived in my building for 1 year.
That's right. He's your roommate.
Yeah, he was my roommate. He was a really good guy. I liked Andrew White III. He didn't end up being very popular with Husker fans when he left.
No, not when he left. But when he was on the team, he had one of the best strokes I've ever seen in Nebraska.
Yep. He had a great stroke.
Number 2 on my list, Eric Piatkowski. Pike, of course, one of 2 Huskers with 200-plus career threes.
Wow, I did not know that. I mean, I should know that, but I didn't know that. Polish Rifle.
That's right.
He had the best nickname for a shooter ever. Polish Rifle.
Yeah, and one of the best players at Nebraska all time as well.
Easily.
Number one on my list, the all-time best three-point shooter at Nebraska and friend of Early Break is Kerry Cohorn. The three-point record is 89 threes that he made in 2002. He's actually the all-time three-point record holder as well for a career 268. Kerry Cohorn, man, he's one of my favorite players growing up. Would have loved to see him play in the modern age.
Me as well. Wasn't the most athletic dude, but he could really shoot it.
By his senior season too, I think he led the team in assists. He was actually he's a pretty good ball handler and passer by the end, but he's only known for his 3-point shooting because he's so good at it. That's kind of what hurts Steph Curry. I'm not putting him in the same category, but people think of Steph Curry as just a 3-point shooter. He's one of the best dribblers in the league. He's one of the best finishers at the rim in the league, and sometimes I think he's led the league in assists before.
He and Sorensen play a lot of golf together.
Yeah, Cohorn,
and he's a scratch golfer. He's a really good golfer. Listens to the station a lot. I think they use him as one of their analysts for Husker basketball. It might have been on today. I don't know. We use Strick. You could have put Strick on there. I mean, Strick is known as a great defender, and I think he was Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. But for a lefty, he could really shoot it. And remember, he made 7 threes against Missouri one year, scoring 28
points. Yeah, he could catch fire. Him and Jerron Boone and Glenn Watson actually all are top 10 career 3-point shooters at Nebraska. They're all just around 35%. So I was kind of trying to keep it with the guys that were mostly in the 40% range. But yeah, Husker Army off the text line says Brian Carr or Henry T. Those guys were 3-point pioneers. Could have been on the list as well.
Brian Carr, one of the best free throw shooters of all time. So that's a good one. Mike Nader, I might nominate. Brian Banks from back in the day. Who else? I don't know. That's a good list, though. I like that. I like that list at all.
Hopefully, someday we can put Tamanaga on that list.
Well, I don't think you have a big danger of him transferring.
Right?
Maybe not. I mean, is he going to go back to Japan? Where's he going to go? Maybe. I think that once he gets bigger and stronger, he'll be better. I like the fact that he tries really hard. I think right now he's trying too hard. He's trying too hard. I think all the guys are really trying too hard. They just need to let it fly and have some fun. I look at this team right now and I think they're not having much fun. Part of it is they're not winning.
Yeah.
But even when they win, I don't see a lot of smiles. I don't see a lot of guys look like they're just having a great time playing basketball, which should be the case. It's the best time of your life. It should be.
Yeah, it should be. But again, it kind of goes back to, I mean, we did the same thing with football, but you go back to that Western Illinois. When you start the season in a hole, it's hard to have as much fun. You're always trying to make up for that. So even if you do win some games that you're supposed to, you're still kind of behind the curve. So, I mean, I think that they've kind of been playing behind the season goal since day one.
If you could put one guy from on that list on this team, who would you take?
Altogether, I'd take either Eric Piatkowski or Teron Lue.
Teron Lue.
Yeah, I'd probably take Teron Lue.
I'd take Teron Lue. I mean, the guy just knew how to play, but he could score from anywhere. He could score around the rim. He could shoot the three. He could jump stop and break your legs. I mean, he could really dribble the ball, but his moves were so good that he could stop on a dime and you were still going backwards, and he would make shots on you. I mean, if they had him, I mean, we always say you need a true point guard.
That's a true point.
That's a true point guard in Teron Lue. He was really, really good.
And you mentioned it. I always have wondered what would happen if he would have came back for his senior season. I think the next year, Vincent Hamilton won the Big 12 Player of the Year without a very good Nebraska team. And of course, Nebraska didn't make the tournament. I mean, I think that would definitely be a tournament team if he would have returned.
I think we have somebody dialing us up, but if they're still there or they left, they might have left. We'll catch you on the other side. We would love to hear from you today. If you want to talk about the new coaches that they have finalized for the University of Nebraska, we'd love to hear from you on that. Honda of Lincoln hotline, 464-5685. Sutter Heyman text line, the same number. In case you haven't heard, Mark Whipple has been wrapped up. He's in. He'll be the new offensive coordinator for Nebraska. Donovan Raiola, of course, the brother of Dominic Raiola, who had been coaching as an assistant with the Chicago Bears on their offensive line, is the new offensive line coach. Mickey Joseph, who we've known all week, is the wide receiver coach and run game or pass game coordinator, along with the assistant head coach, which you think is too many titles. So you'd have really one more hire to make. Is it Bill Bush? Is it a Ricky Brumfield for special teams? Or do you go with the running backs coach?
Yeah, who's kind of taking these? I mean, there's no way they can keep the special teams duties as they are. I just couldn't imagine that. So either shuffling those duties, or who's going to do the running back? Be the running backs coach. Something that if they don't do, I mean, the Mark Whipple hire, I like it, but it doesn't inspire you much as far as the ground game goes. And I mean, if they completely just left her, I want a special teams coach as much as anybody, but you need to get that running back room led by somebody.
I think that's still the big question mark. And let's talk about it on the other side. Mark Whipple, what does he bring? Are we finally getting some clues? We only have one coaching hire to make. We should know what this offense will look like based on the careers of Mark Whipple and Donovan Raiola and Mickey Joseph, right? We'll talk about it coming up on the other side with Tom and Bock.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of special discounts at the event and other discounts throughout the month of December. You'll find savings on oil and filters, attachments, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. You'll also have a chance to visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our winter service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com for a complete schedule of our expo events.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses, 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture, also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances, 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonzal Pool & Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonzal Pool & Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonzal Pool & Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Sunny skies expected here for our Wednesday. We'll top out near 48 with a west-southwest wind at 10 to 15. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Maybe a few sprinkles around the area. A low down to around 34. Decreasing cloud cover tomorrow with a high of 53. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. It is Tom and Bock over the noon hour. Of course, Nebraska has made 3 coaching hires. Mark Whipple is the new offensive coordinator. Donovan Raiola, the new offensive line coach. Mickey Joseph was the first as wide receiver coach. And we bring in now Jack Pierce, the guy that recruited Mickey Joseph to Nebraska back in the late 80s, 1988 to 1991. Hi, Jack. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Tell me about that. By the way, longtime friend, known Jack for years. He was Tom Osborne assistant, known as one of the great recruiters of all time in Nebraska football history. And you recruited Louisiana a lot. But what was the recruitment of Mickey Joseph like?
Well, it's good. He had a great family. His mom and dad were hardworking people, and they kind of listened more to what we were going to do with him academically and as well as football. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he was a parade All-American. He was one of the best recruits in the entire country. How did you get him to Lincoln, Nebraska?
Lied like heck. No. Actually, I think Tom was the one that kind of closed the deal. We were on our trip down there to visit with his family, and we had to fly through Chicago and to go to New Orleans. And Tom actually picked up a Chicago paper, and Notre Dame was one of the schools recruiting Mickey.
Yeah.
And they had just signed in the paper, Chicago paper, a 6'4" quarterback, drop back passer.
Yeah.
So Tom bought the paper down with him on the trip him and I were together, and he said, what are they going to do? Are they going to be a drop back team? And are they going to be an option team with you? And that kind of put a seed in Mickey's mind. Notre Dame did that all the time. Though. You know, they were the recruiting, get all the top 25 parade All-Americans, and never thought about how they fit offensively or defensively.
One of the things about Mickey Joseph is it might help Nebraska get back into New Orleans. You recruited New Orleans at a very high level. Not only Mickey Joseph, but Leroy Etienne, Reggie Cooper was from New Orleans. Nebraska, Neil Smith, certainly a New Orleans guy. How big would it be for Nebraska to get back into that state?
I have always thought. Is it Tom asked me the question?
Yeah. Yep. That was me.
Oh, Tom got it.
Yeah.
That's a good one, because I have always thought that you get a player that's highly recruited, highly ranked from Louisiana. You've got somebody that's going to play hard all the time. Look at LSU. Once they started recruiting in state, they got that kind of kids, you know what I mean? So that's, you know, they learn early. They have very good discipline in terms of either a single parent or a 2-parent family like Mickey was. They understand about discipline.
Yeah. We're talking with Jack Pierce, longtime Husker assistant under Tom Osborne. What was Tom like as a recruiter? Because we think of him as a little bit dry.
No.
How good
he was the guy you brought in near the end because he could close the deal. He's very good with his facts, graduation rates, and things like that. If that was important to a parent, Tom had all the info for them. You know, it's just I was the guy dancing around the room in the kitchen having a beer with the old man. You know, that wasn't listening to that.
Give me some of those. You have so many great recruiting stories. Give me one that's kind of your favorite or among your favorite out
Mickey
recruiting?
is.
He?
Mickey's
Well,
one
okay,
of
tell
them.
me the recruitment of Mickey Joseph, because there's that funny fence story. Like you had
I had run out of visits at the school.
Right.
So I wanted to sign him at the house, but Mickey wanted to sign in front of the school, his classmates,
right,
and teachers, and so I couldn't go into school. This is when coaches could actually bring the letter to the kid, and so Hank Tierney, his head coach, and I got together, and we found us on the south side or the west side of Shaw, Archbishop Shaw was a park. So, and it wasn't too defined. So Tierney put a fence up so that we could stay apart from each other and
That's funny.
hand the paper over and get it signed.
Yeah.
It's just like Broderick.
Broderick Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas from Houston. I had run out of visits with him, and I had one left in the house. So I took it the whole night before signing day the next day, so I could be there at 8.
Well, that was common, right? Because you actually had to have the recruits sign it in person. There were no fax machines at that time.
No.
So you
don't put me back that far. They had communication like that at that time.
Did they? So were they allowed to fax in their letter of intent, or did they have to sign it in front of you?
No, you always wanted to be there to make sure.
Yeah.
I went to I actually signed 7 kids one year in Houston, Dallas, and New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I flew in a private plane from school, town to town, or city to city, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just to make them. It was cool back then, Tom. You could, like Coop. Coop went to
Reggie
Slidell
Cooper.
High.
Reggie Cooper.
A lot of visits. Parked the car across the street and had him sign on the hood. Yeah, but it happened to be a rental car, and it was a Cadillac. The Times-Picayune took a picture through the Cadillac insignia at Reggie signing.
Right.
And the headlines read, I can't verbatim, what do you think Cooper got to go to Nebraska?
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of different.
Were you a part of the Turner Gill signing?
That was Lance Van Zandt.
Yeah. Because there were stories that they had to hide him away from Oklahoma. It's great recruiting. So you need to write a book, by the way, Jack.
I can't write.
Well, we'll get a ghostwriter for you. And
my hands don't work very good anymore.
What type of a coach do you think that Mickey will be for Nebraska, Mickey Joseph?
From what I found out from talking to old high school coaches down there and people that know Mick, he'll be a great one. He will. He will. I got to tell you guys, I said 3 or 4 years ago, Nebraska's going to have a tough time climbing back into prominence, on the national scene.
Right.
And I actually didn't think they could do it. When you get a kid like Mickey Joseph that's got so many openings in a wide open territory like Louisiana, he can just barnstorm the state. And everybody knows him. Everybody knows him. And his connections with LSU will play even a bigger role.
There was a story of Mickey Joseph, and I can't remember the receiver from Ole Miss or Mississippi State, that Ed Orgeron really wanted on signing day. And Mickey, according to Steve Sipple, and I think it was in the same article with you, kept him on the phone for like 4 hours until he
turned around.
Until he finally committed to LSU. Do you have stories like that?
No, I didn't use the phone much. I'd rather be in person. I would call him at least once or twice a week, but more so on the road. I loved being on the road.
Yeah.
And visiting. There was 2 years there, Tom, that
Yeah.
I was on the road all the time.
Yeah.
I had coached a position with the defensive backs, but Lance took care of that, and I went on the road in everybody's area. You know,
Yep.
we coached.
Yeah.
back then.
Yep. Jack Pierce, one of the great recruiters in Nebraska football history. Thanks for the time. We appreciate it, Jack. Good stuff as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, there you go. Jack Pierce, longtime Nebraska assistant under Tom Osborne, part of that 60-2 run or 60-3 run back in the day. He tells a story about Broderick Thomas. That it's one of the colder days in Nebraska history. Broderick's a Texas guy.
Yeah.
They're bringing him into the hangar, and he tells the pilot, pull it into the hangar. And then they get in to the car, and they take him to the hotel, and he says, take it up the ramp, and let's get right out by the door.
Yeah, don't let him feel this cold.
He goes, you guys are going to need clothes. It's usually very warm this time of year in Nebraska, but it's just for some reason there's a cold front. At night it gets cold. So he puts a bunch of coats on him. He gets it signed. I mean, he was one of those guys that just got it done. And some of the greatest recruits in Nebraska football history. But he's got a dozen of those stories being out on the road with Tom Osborne. And he was a big time closer, Tom Osborne, able to close the deal, and usually did it not necessarily always through the parent or through the players, but through the parents. He was able to sell the parents.
Well,
Really high level.
it was kind of cool to listen to him talk about Mickey Joseph too, because you kind of, when you hear Jack Pierce or those names that were on those Osborne staffs, you just kind of hold them to a very, high regard, high level of respect for them. And then, you kind of think about what Mickey Joseph's name means to LSU fans. And in that state, he says everybody knows him. Well, they should. I mean, he helped them lead them to a national title as a wide receiver coach. He had one of the better units that they've ever had in school history. So you think that Mickey Joseph is really going to bring a few Louisiana targets with him, and they've already offered a few guys that are ex LSU commits.
And known as a pretty good evaluator of talent. Sometimes that state produces really good players that are not as well known as the 5, 6A players because they play at 2, 3A, that type of thing. But there's some really good talent sometimes in the lower classes that get ignored by the bigger schools like LSU. Nebraska is after a quarterback that does have connections with Mark Whipple. Mark Whipple, the new offensive coordinator. Apparently, they are bringing in Chuba Purdy. Is it Chuba or Chuba? Because it was Chuba Hubbard.
That's right.
The running back for Oklahoma State, who now is in the NFL. So it could be Chuba, could be Chuba. But he is a 4-star, played at Florida State, started his career there, never saw the field, I don't believe. And now he's in the portal and I think is scheduled for a visit for Nebraska. Watch this video. The guy can really wing it. I mean, he's got a big arm. So that's one of the guys they're pursuing. They also have a quarterback coming in, I believe this weekend. Zach Gibson is his name. He's from Akron. Played this last year at Akron. Did not start. 6'3", 208. Finished his freshman season with the 2 and 10 zips. So Akron had a bad year. But he played in 7 games, completed 69% of his passes, over 1,200 yards and 10 TDs. That's pretty good stats considering he wasn't even the starter. So they've got a couple of guys that they're connected to. He's from Johns Creek High School in Georgia and would have 3 years of eligibility at Nebraska.
And these names, of course, Purdy's brother is the Iowa State quarterback. So, I mean, at least he's got a good brother. But, I mean, these quarterbacks don't necessarily awe you as though they're coming in and starting. So, it might be a case, a lot of rumors as they will happen of Oklahoma quarterbacks visiting town or Quinn Ewers being interested. It's more likely that they'll wind up with somebody like, one of those names and bring in as competition more so than just kind of taking over the starting job. I think that's probably what it's looking like at this point, just based on the guys they're after.
I'll be honest. I don't know what to make of the hire of Mark Whipple. Offensive coordinator, they throw, over 50% of the time at Pitt. They had Kenny Pickett for, good reason that they would throw. They average 43 points a game. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. In the ACC, we'll see what he could do at Nebraska. But this is a guy that's never had an offense rush for more than about 200 a game.
No, not even close, really. Not generally having that many yards per game.
Well, and 200 is very good, obviously.
Yeah.
But it does concern you that Nebraska is just going to wing it 30, 40 times a game. And that's how they're going to get back on the national stage. Is that the recipe to win in the Big Ten? It hasn't been. I mean, Ohio State has done it. But there's not a lot of other teams. Purdue has done it. There's not a ton of teams that you can point to in this league that have had great success winging it 30, 40 times a game.
Well, no.
It didn't work out for Mike Riley.
No, I don't think it generally will in the Big Ten. But I mean, I think that he's basically this year's Joe Brady, right? He was up for the Burrows Award, but he turned Kenny Pickett, similar to what we saw with Joe Burrow. And Kenny Pickett won't win the Heisman or the national championship or anything like that, so it's kind of to a lesser degree. But still, if you had a comparison, that's what I'd make. Because Kenny Pickett was like, okay, he's just a fine quarterback throughout his career, never really going to make any waves or headlines outside of Pittsburgh or the local area, maybe ACC fans. And then this year he just burst out and had an excellent senior season, and that whole offense got rolling. So, it's kind of interesting because Mark Whipple's been at it a long time, and this was kind of his best season. So I guess strike while the iron's hot. But, at other times, I mean, if you follow roster movement or stuff in the NBA or Major League Baseball, sometimes it's good to trade guys that are kind of having a career year because, they're not going to generally have that type of career year. So, you want to get the best return for them. But I think as far as like big names, I think it's a solid name as far as a guy that's up for the Burrows Award. Jeff Lebby, Oklahoma just got the Ole Miss offensive coordinator. I mean, there's a few hot offensive coordinators this year that were up for the award. I think it's solid. I just, like you, there's a few things about it that aren't great. I don't think he traditionally cares so much for the running game. And then how does the pro style history of his offenses blend in with what Nebraska wants to do moving forward? I don't think pro style is necessarily a bad idea. I just don't know if they're going to fully lean into that or not.
This isn't your run the damn ball guy. It seems like the opposite of that. Mark Whipple, 64, who has been at Pitt for 3 years. They averaged 43 points a game this past year, 503 yards per game. They had a quarterback in Kenny Pickett who threw for over 4,300 yards, 42 TDs, and is going to be in New York. He won't win the Heisman, but he'll certainly be there in New York. But the thing is, Mark Whipple can't bring Kenny Pickett with him. They're going to have to find somebody else that plays that role at Nebraska. He has 11 years of head coaching experience at UMass, 21 overall at 3 different schools. He was at UMass 2 different times, from 98 to 2003, then 2014 to 2018. He won a Division I AA national championship in 1998 at UMass. He's a good mind. I mean, he coached Ben Roethlisberger from the Steelers. They won a Super Bowl with Mark Whipple as the quarterback coach at Pittsburgh. So he's certainly got that. So he's the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach. Got that handled. I think he's a good offensive mind. I just don't know about what identity he provides. Are they going to tweak this thing to make it look a little bit like what Frost was doing? Because he told us that they're not going to stray too far from what they do. So are you going to incorporate the pro-style passing game with the option game? I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense for me when you say we're not changing a lot from what we've been doing. Did he just have an epiphany to say, oh, I guess we are?
I think they're just going to blend these ideas. Again, I don't think that they're going to lean heavily on Whipple to fix the running game. He hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher any 3 years at Pittsburgh. They haven't run for over 4 yards per carry until this year, where they averaged 4.1, and they had Jordan Addison as the Blitnikoff Award type of wide receiver and Kenny Pickett. So, that you would think that they'd be able to even get that going a little bit more. But I think the idea is, and this is where the titles start to kind of bother me, right? They already have a passing game coordinator, but I think that he's kind of there for the passing game and to develop that, and obviously the play calling and all that. And that Frost, hopefully, I like him as the CEO, but with his record of kind of having a running quarterback or a mobile quarterback, can get their running game going. It's just interesting though too altogether. I mean, this guy has had a career year at Pitt, basically. So you wonder how much more Nebraska's going to have to pay him than Pitt did, because he's kind of leaving. I know Kenny Pickett's going to be gone and all that, but you kind of leave in a situation where you've earned a lot of respect for a 1-year trial run at Nebraska that isn't necessarily set up for you to blow it out of the water and average 40 again. So I don't know. It's kind of a dangerous career move in his own right, even though he's older. I mean, and he's well respected no matter what he does. But
he'll get his money.
Yeah,
regardless, he'll get his money.
I think that Nebraska's gonna have to pay him a pretty good chunk for this experiment, considering what he's where he's coming from.
He made $476,000 as the offensive coordinator at Pittsburgh. He'll get a substantial raise, probably in the neighborhood of $700,000 to $800,000.
He was due for a raise at Pittsburgh. I mean, this was kind of the year his offense broke out, so it was going to happen one way or the other.
I'm actually anxious. I haven't been very anxious for a Scott Frost press conference for a while, but there's a lot of questions to be answered with these new hires. And I really want to know, how far is he straying from what he was doing? Does he really trust this guy, Mr. Whipple, to do the job and to leave him alone and become a CEO? So I can't wait for that press conference, because I don't know where they're going. I still don't know where they're going. I have no idea. Let's get to break. I know where we're going. Wingman time, 464-5685. Call the Honda of Lincoln hotline to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Today, it's Slogan Wednesday. We used to do What's the Hook Wednesday on Wednesdays, but I thought this was kind of fun. We'll give you the tagline for the commercial. We'll play the commercial up until the product, and you tell us what the product is, okay? Yeah. We'll do that next. 464-5685. Wingman is next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers says let it snow, because a white New Year's Eve could mean free jewelry. Shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Holiday savings throughout the store. 36 months interest-free financing with approved credit. And remember, shop from November 24th to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. This Saturday's morning matches features Man U against Man City at 7:30, Chelsea at Burnley, as well as Brentford at Norwich City at 10, and an afternoon match of Brighton and Newcastle at 12:30. On Sunday morning, there's 3 8 o'clock matches, with Everton taking on Tottenham, Leicester City hosting Leeds United, and Arsenal and Watford, with Liverpool hosting West Ham at 10:30. All at McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
At the Nebraska Ag Expo, we're passionate about sharing all the latest and greatest innovations and technologies that agriculture has to offer to help increase profits, lower costs, and improve the way you farm and ranch. Grab your neighbor and come on out to this year's show. Visit with nearly 1,700 ag experts, all under one roof. December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Lancaster Event Center. Register online for free admission at NebraskaAgExpo.com. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In girls basketball, number 5 Lincoln Southwest won over number 4 Bellevue East 47-38. Kennedy Williams led all scores with 15 points and came up big on both sides of the court as a two-way player. On Saturday in boys basketball, Lincoln Southeast fell to Bellevue West 80-58. Lincoln High lost in double overtime to Columbus 76-72. Colin Nick for East would finish the game with 20 points. Lincoln East also lost this week to Creighton Prep 54-51. Creighton Prep scored on a three-pointer with 1 second left to seal the game. Lincoln North Star coasted to a win over South Sioux City 71-4. Lincoln Northeast won over Papillion La Vista 63-57. Lincoln Pius won over North Platte comfortably 61-41. Lincoln Lutheran lost to Norfolk Catholic 53-37. Norris won over Northwest 52-36. And Waverly beat Elkhorn 45-24. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday. You lost Wednesday. You're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies expected here for our Wednesday. We'll top out near 48 with a west-southwest wind at 10 to 15. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Maybe a few sprinkles around the area. A low down to around 34. Decreasing cloud cover tomorrow with a high of 53. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go ahead. Let it sleet. Let it slush. And let it snow. Because the pros at T.O. Haas Tire are ready to help you with a new set of tires guaranteed to get you through it all. Like the complete line of Michelin tires, including the X-Ice Snow Tire. And right now, you can get $70 back when you buy any 4 new Michelin tires at the T.O. Haas Tire near you.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rolling. This is Wingman.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash. I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. You can be my wingman anytime.
Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings on 93.7 The Ticket.
464-5685. Call right now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline for your chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings so you can go buy chickens.
Pollos.
Yardbird. All right, it's Slogan Wednesday today. We're going to make it Slogan Wednesday. We do What's the Hook Wednesday. But we play the commercial right up until the tagline. Until it reveals the product. And you guess what the product is. You'll understand after you hear today's commercial. This is from way back in the 60s, so I don't think Bock will know it, but here it is. Yep.
There we go.
Slogan. I can't resist it myself. I like to sneak a squeeze on the sly. Squeezably soft. And that fragrant is added. Nice touch.
Mr. Whipple, please don't squeeze the
Don't squeeze. Don't squeeze. And don't reveal the product. 464-5685. If you think you know what the product might be, please dial 464-5685. And you actually do know it, don't you? Do you think you know what it is?
Yeah, I know it.
It's a product that's still sold in the United States at a high level. I think so. But we thought in honor of Mr. Whipple, I'll play it one more time. Mr. Mark Whipple, we'd do that today.
If you only knew, Mrs. Logan. I can't resist it myself. I like to sneak a squeeze on the sly. Squeezably soft. And that fragrant is added. Nice touch.
Mr. Whipple, please don't squeeze the
That was a big tagline back in the day in my 70s and 80s.
Mr. Whipple was a big deal.
Mr. Whipple was a big deal. Now he's a big deal in Lincoln, Nebraska as the offensive coordinator. Dave, maybe he knows the answer to the question, what is the product today?
That would be some bottom wipe called Charmin.
Charmin. Please don't squeeze the Charmin. Lee, we have our winner. Dave got it. Yeah, that's it. Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
I think we got to take out that, please, Mr. Whipple. I think that'll be useful in the future.
It's very, I mean, this line is really kind of creepy from Mr. Whipple.
I like to sneak a squeeze on the sly.
Yes, it is.
I mean, come on. It's the guy that I always wanted to be on one of those teams that, you come up for ideas. I mean, just ideas for commercials, product ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy that said, I got an idea. The tagline is, please don't squeeze the Charmin, because it's so squeezably soft. People want to come into the grocery store and just squeeze the toilet paper all the time. That's my idea. Let's run with that.
And they love that.
Yeah. And that's the thing of it. There are no bad ideas, even though there are a lot of bad ideas. I mean, you feel like, I feel like I see a lot of commercials every day. Like I could have written that.
Yeah, I'm always very disappointed in Super Bowl commercials, because you think it's just like everybody gets in a board meeting. It's a big, I mean, they're spending millions of dollars on these things. And sometimes the product is just, that's the best you came up with. You had all year to come up with something.
I have friends that work for Bailey Lauerman and other, companies that's what they do. They come up with commercial ideas or ad slogans like Nebraska Nice. I think they came up with, or Nebraska, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, that was there for a while.
Actually, they didn't come up with that. They went to a company in Colorado that came up with Nebraska, it's not for everyone.
Thanks, Colorado.
Right. You paid $1 million. And I think that was what it was. It was like $1 million to get that campaign off the ground. And that's what you came up with. I mean,
everybody's been pretty disappointed with that.
I wish they would go back to the good life, Nebraska.
Yeah. Why change from what's good?
I don't think it was ever necessary to change Nebraska's slogan. Please don't squeeze the Charmin, though, was a big one back in the 60s,
Have you ever
70s.
wanted to squeeze toilet paper? Is
no,
there
I've
any
never
sort of
really
joy
done that.
comes out of
that's
that?
That's why I think this line by Mr. Whipple is just really weird.
I like to sneak a squeeze on the sly.
And then, of course, she says, no, you can't sneak a squeeze on the sly.
Mr. Whipple, please don't squeeze the
don't squeeze the Charmin. Mark Whipple, it's going to be fun. Their idea for the podcast, Sipple and Whipple. Do you like that idea?
I like that start. Yeah, that's a good start.
I guess Happer and Schaefer had that idea. Sipple and Whipple. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be a podcast that they'll eventually do. Let's get to break. Come back with some Husker hoops talk. I mean, we got to have we got to get this out. We got to straighten out what's going on with Nebraska hoops, and is there hope? And if there is, what direction leads to hope? We'll talk about it coming up next.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Early break with Sip and Jake.
But why is Nebraska not a hungry program? Why does Michigan come in with hunger? Where's the hunger? Where's the, Nebraska doesn't play like a hungry team. Even on its best nights, it doesn't look like a very hungry team. Right?
No.
They're not killers.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Lincoln's Mega Liquidation Store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG Scratch and Dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Sunny skies expected here for our Wednesday. We'll top out near 48 with a west-southwest wind at 10 to 15. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Maybe a few sprinkles around the area. A low down to around 34. Decreasing cloud cover tomorrow with a high of 53. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatchback burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. And you can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
This is a Broncos Radio Network update.
Touchdown, Denver! How about that? I like that!
All my love, Derek.
Justin, it's clear the amount of lives that you have impacted throughout your community work. That's why I'm excited to announce that for 3 consecutive years, you are the Denver Broncos nominee for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide.
Broncos insider Brandon Cristal. That was former Denver linebacker Wesley Woodyard in a surprise video where Pro Bowl safety Justin Simmons thought he was breaking down tape with Hall of Fame safety Steve Atwater for the Broncos website. Instead, for the third straight year, he finds out he's the team's nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
My boy Woodyard, man.
Way to go, Justin.
God, dog, boy, y'all always find
Congratulations,
a way.
man.
Thank you so much, man. I'm over here tearing up.
As a nominee, he receives $40,000 for his charity. The league-wide award will be announced Thursday, February 10th.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Beatrice Bakery has been serving Nebraska with one-of-a-kind grandma's fruitcake since 1964. You already know that, but did you know they offer way more than that? You've got to try their line of liqueur cakes, like the strawberry daiquiri cake or the vanilla rum cake. Or what about their breakfast breads, the banana nut bread, or their various streusel coffee cakes? Whatever the occasion, Beatrice Bakery has something for you. Oh yeah, and grandma's fruitcake? It's still pretty darn good. Beatrice Bakery, located in downtown Beatrice, or always online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has been your go-to in South Lincoln for years, and their second location in downtown Lincoln is now open. Rosie's downtown spot is Lincoln's premier Nebraska party bar with the Sidetrack Band every Friday night of home games and all day for Nebraska home football games. With 34 TVs that are 65 inches or bigger, you'll always have a great view for all the games. Make sure to check out the new Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, now open in downtown Lincoln at 10th and P.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Tom and Bock, coming at you live from Koppel Chevrolet GMC Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Stevens.
Hey, what day is it?
To my knowledge, Wednesday.
Well, we're happier than a camel on Wednesday, baby.
Jake Bockoven.
Coach told me when we're in Rome, we do as Romans, and when we're in Italy, we do as Italians. So Italians, they eat pizza after the game.
Tom and Bock starts now.
I could use a slice of pizza. Or maybe something great from Beatrice Bakery. That would even be better. They have amazing fruitcakes, cakes in general. Have you tried the lemon drop cake yet?
Oh, yes. It's delicious.
That's my favorite. The chocolate liqueur is very good as well. But they specialize in all sorts of great bakery items, Beatrice Bakery. Beatrice Bakery bakes some of the best fruitcake as well. I mean, you think, I don't like fruitcake. You'll love their fruitcake. Dessert items from around the world. And they bake a variety of artesian cakes, liqueur cakes, breakfast breads, coffee cakes. Their old-fashioned fruitcake, as we mentioned, they're most popular. I think I saw something. They said that they use more alcohol, liqueur, than anybody around.
Yeah, they purchased quite a bit of it.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you're not going to get drunk. Obviously, it's cooked out of it, but it's great. It's great stuff. So nominate your business. Somebody that would like that delivered to them. We feature nonprofits usually on our show. It doesn't have to be necessarily. But you just go to theticketfm.com at the top of the page, nominate your favorite nonprofit or somebody who just needs a smile.
Absolutely.
And we'll deliver it to the office. Today we have the Center for the People in Need. I know Steve Sheridan very well. He's worked there for a number of years, has always given service to others. And so we'd like to feed them, at least dessert from Beatrice Bakery. But nominate somebody for next week.
Yeah.
Just go to the top of the page and do it at theticketfm.com. And we'll deliver goodies every Wednesday from Beatrice Bakery. Nebraska basketball is not good. It's not. It's time to say it, right? In fact, you had the head coach, Fred Hoiberg, use the Q word. You had it when your head coach, after 10 games in the season, uses the word quit. Now, I don't think he didn't say they quit for the season, but he said looked like they kind of quit last night.
Yeah.
That's risky. I don't know if it's motivational or it's just a dejected coach saying, man, this is not going well. This is what Hoiberg said about the team, his concern going forward. Fred Hoiberg.
Well, again, I mean, if you sit here and hang your heads and feel sorry for yourself, it's going to get a lot worse. So, ain't nobody going to feel sorry for us. We got to bounce back with 2 energetic days and put this one behind us. And hopefully it was a one-time deal.
Maybe so. Maybe you can move forward, but a coach that's that dejected, you're carrying that into the locker room, right?
Yeah, it's gonna show, and hopefully but he's trying everything, right? I mean, he's tried to motivate them. Maybe if they can say that he's not mad, he's just disappointed, that can maybe motivate them. So maybe this is just another motivational tactic, but I don't know how much, if you're in that locker room, and he said that was one of the worst performances he's ever been a part of as far as coaching. If that doesn't motivate you, I don't know how it would. I mean, if you care for the guy that you play for.
Right. Did you see signs of this, Fred Hoiberg?
I did. I mean, we had guys that didn't practice the last couple of days with, sinus infections. They were all tested. They all tested negative. We've got one not here that's redshirting this year because of an influenza diagnosis. Still can't affect it. I mean, listen, I could sit here and pretend I was a very good player, but if my shot wasn't falling, I was going to run through a wall and find a way to impact the game. And we had no fight tonight, and that's the thing that just it's very disheartening.
Disheartening. There's a lot of adversity with this team. How do you handle this adversity?
Well, again, Indiana, I thought we competed as, maybe as well as we had all year, especially on the defensive end. And tonight, the lack of shot making, it just completely affected everything. It just sucked the air out of the building. And, again, that's the true test of the type of year you're going to have is how you handle adversity. We have handled it pretty well for the most part. Tonight was about as bad as I've ever been a part of as far as handling adversity.
Well, they didn't handle it well, in part because they did not shoot it well. 5 of 35, 14%, historically bad in the history of college probably football as well. Basketball, it's really, really bad. One of the worst shooting performances of all time. Here's Hoiberg talking about the shooting.
We talked about that in the locker room. I mean, it's I don't know. Our shots early were great. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Casey hits 2 of them. We have probably 5 or 6 other wide open looks, and those don't go down. And, those are deflating, but it can't affect your effort on the other end.
Okay. I guess I disagree on some of those shots. I didn't think they were all of them good shots. Some of them were early, and he's right. They didn't fall, and that led to frustration and defensive problems as well. He says he's never been a part of a game like that, Fred Hoiberg.
I was right about that. I've never been a part of one like this where we just quit competing, and, it's so discouraging. Missed shots early. It affected our energy all over the floor. After playing a game last week, a couple days ago in Indiana, where the shot wasn't falling in, but man, we competed and guarded and rebounded and followed the game plan. Today, it was just, we were completely out of it. It's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and got to find a way to fix it. But it's very, very discouraging what I saw out there as a group collectively You know, I thought Wilhelm fought his ass off out there. I thought he was battling. You know, we'll get a scan on him tomorrow to see the extent of the injury, but you know, got to get back at it. Got a top 15 team that we're playing basically on the road on Saturday, and it's just unacceptable. It can't happen.
Auburn on Saturday. Boy, do you remember a time when he was that dejected, even among 2 7-win seasons?
Maybe not quite. I think he has a little more hope for this team than he has in the past. But I mean, it's somebody said it earlier, and it's hard. And a lot of people, you don't want to make this connection because I think for years it's been something that's kind of brought Hoiberg down. It's because the football program's been struggling. But it's that's a guy that we've heard from Scott Frost I think midseason or even last year midseason didn't have the answers. This seems like a guy in Hoiberg that's doesn't have the answers. I mean, he's looking for something. He doesn't know how last night played out. And I don't want to jump ship right now. I mean, there's the tournament team that Nebraska had was at 1.1-5, I think.
Right. This is good, Bock. This is therapy.
Yeah.
Give me a little optimism. Give me your case as to why Nebraska will turn this thing around.
Well, there's just plenty of time. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think that they have some options that they can tweak with. Some people disagree and say that they recruited to the system and can only play that system, but I think they have some versatility. You're just going to have to ask a little bit different out of certain guys. But yeah, that tournament team up until January 23rd, if you remember, that loss to Purdue or to Penn State, dropped them to 1-5. They were a bad Penn State team. This is back in 2014 or whatever. And they dropped to 9-9 overall and 1-5 in the league. There probably wasn't much hope for that team to make a run, and they did. So Nebraska still has plenty of times. I think they have a lot of young players that are kind of growing into their roles and trying to understand what they're going to be asked to do. But I just think that this isn't. I think you have to move away from the system, even that you recruited them to more work with what's working with your personnel, not just your personnel, because the personnel can be a shooting type of team, but it's what your players are doing now. If you go big, if you bring Walker and Andre in, maybe it does clog things up offensively, but maybe you rebound more and you're tougher to score on in the paint. That sort of strategy. Maybe Webster and Verge together on the court can be more of have those guys trade off attacking and opening things up for opponents, and because those are guys that can kind of open it up for their friends, for their teammates. So I think there's some options here. And I know that people don't like it's not the prettiest basketball. It was awful to watch Doc Sadler melt the clock and finally just find something. But maybe if you limit possessions, play more in the 60s than trying to outscore the Michigans of the world in the 80s, much better shooting teams. I mean, if you shoot this bad and just challenge anybody to a shoot off, you're going to lose because you just can't hit them. So I think that sort of strategy needs to be dialed down, if not completely to the Doc Sadler, shoot with 3 seconds left on the shot clock type of strategy, but just maybe limit possessions, go big, try something, because this is not working, and it doesn't seem to be like they're just on a bad streak now. You're 10 games into the season. This might be kind of who you are, despite the fact that you believe in them as 3-point shooters long term. It's not right now.
Here's the thing. The first thing I would do to fix this, and Hoiberg was asked that, do you consider changing styles? Let's listen to this bite first before I answer the question. What would I do to fix it? Do you consider changing styles of play, Hoiberg?
I'm gonna consider everything the next 2 days.
Okay, well then maybe he's listening to this show right now and listening to some of our ideas about what we would change. First thing is, not everybody gets the green light. Sorry. If you haven't proven in a game, maybe more than once, that you can shoot it at a high level, you don't have the green light. And I think Bock will be that guy eventually, but he doesn't have a lot of confidence that he's going to make it. He doesn't look like he did. I think in that Colorado game, he shot it pretty well. So no green light for you. Sorry. That may come at some future date. We'll keep an eye on how you're shooting. And maybe we'll allow one a game. Keon Edwards has not shot it well in games yet. Maybe you don't have a green light right now. Defend, rebound, do the gritty stuff, which Nebraska desperately needs, and maybe you can earn the right to shoot a few more threes. I mean, I know this is,
does Lat Mayen have a green light?
No. He has a semi. What's an offshoot of green? It's like he has. You're allowed to shoot 3 a game.
Okay.
You can shoot 3 in a game, lat. And then if you make all 3, the next game you can shoot 4.
But there's just some guys like Tominaga and Lat, and I know Lat has, makes impacts on the game that aren't seen on the stat sheet, but there's only so much of that that you can buy into as well. I mean, that's what they're here for. That's why they're here. That's why some people say
it's not working.
It's hard to move away to a different philosophy because they recruited guys who are specifically shooters to shoot. And so, I mean, but at that point, if they're not doing well and they're not, and you're changing that philosophy, it might be that Lat Mayen doesn't start or doesn't get as many minutes. He's already and that's not a crazy thought. That's already been happening. He doesn't play starters minutes because he hasn't been hitting.
I would give Tominaga the green light, but I would limit the number of shots I want him taken from 3. I think he's very good when he gives a ball fake, scoots to the side, either shoots it over, shoots an open 3, or attacks the rim. I like when he has a shot fake and attacks the rim. He's pretty good in distribution toward the rim. So I'd like to see him take fewer 3s. Alonzo Verge, his penetration is his thing. I would like to see him attack the basket, get his feet in the lane, and then either shoot a good shot or distribute. But I don't want to see Alonzo Verge taking a lot of 3s. Obviously, Derek Walker, that's not his game. Kobe can take a few, and CJ can take. I think CJ ultimately will get back to being CJ.
Yeah.
So I would like my 3-point shooters on this team ultimately to be Tominaga and CJ Wilcher, and maybe a little bit of Kobe Webster. Lat's got a few in there, but I don't think everybody has earned the right to be getting the green light at this point. No green light for you. If you haven't made, at least proven in games that are meaningful, that you can make them, why are you allowing everybody to shoot them? And the first open shot is not always the best shot. I love watching teams like Creighton who turn down good shots all the time to get great shots. I think Nebraska doesn't even do that. They just take the first open shot in many cases. And there's somebody with a much better shot. And then that guy, sometimes with a better shot, could turn that down to get a layup maybe. That's what really good teams do. They play for each other. And I don't see enough of that with Nebraska playing for each other. Bryce McGowan's, I think, is a very good basketball player. I'd like to see him do his thing attacking the rim because he's such a good free throw shooter. If he can get fouled, that's automatic 2. That's an automatic 2 for him.
Yeah, and he does a lot of the contested 3s where it kind of pulls up, and he's one of your best players. So sometimes your best player gets the green light to do whatever he wants. But I'd agree with that. It's interesting watching him develop because he's still clearly at that stage where if he's better than you, he could pour it on. But if he's got competition, I mean, and he's used to be, anybody get on the court with, he's better than, other than AAU ball where you have your competition, but. He's kind of struggling when the opponent has an answer for him. And it doesn't have to be a better player in totality, just maybe someone at a little more speed or can get in front of him or whatever it is. He's just kind of stuck in this position where if he's got your number, he'll score 18 and he'll go to the free throw line 12 times in that game. But if he doesn't have your number, he'll shoot 2 of 9 and get 6 points.
Frederick Frank points this out. Creighton not having a great 3-point shooting year, 300th in the nation against in the nation in 3-point shooting. Although they were very good against Nebraska. I mean, that seems
like everybody else.
Like everybody else, they tend to have a career night. That was a career night for Michigan. They've never made 15 under Juwan Howard. They've never done that before. But it felt Creighton had a similar night. And it tells me it's not just obviously shooting the 3; it's defending the 3. If you could solve just those 2 things this year, shoot around 40% from the 3 and defend at, say, make teams around 30%, then you got something. Nebraska will win games if they can do those 2 things, which I think is what Hoiberg was expecting this year.
Well, it's got to be something, though. That's the real problem is they don't have a strength, right? I mean, maybe if you give up the 3-point shot.
That's what it would be.
Right, but if the 3-point shot's not falling maybe really focus on rebounds. They don't rebound. Maybe really spread the ball out well and get assists. They have not been able to get assists the last few games. 6 last night. Defense is obviously not the calling card when you're giving up over 100. So what is it that they do well? It's hard for me to answer that. What would you say? What is Nebraska's best quality as a team that they do well?
I think they shoot free throws okay.
That's right.
And that was a big problem last year. Nebraska, if they can get to the line and get fouled, they make them. They were 16 of 21 last night. They've been right around 70, 75% this year. I think that's your best chance to win games is get fouled, attack the rim, turn down the three. That's what I'm saying. Certain guys maybe still have somewhat of a green light, but I would like to see them do what they do well. Alonzo Verge can get to the rim on almost any team in the country. I think Bryce McGowan's is big and tall enough, or at least tall enough, where he's a pretty good finisher at the rim. It's what Derek Walker does. I mean, he was one of the top field goal percentage guys in the country, and his free throw shooting is not that bad. He's improved that. I'd like to see Lat attack the rim more often. And I think he's a decent free throw shooter. There's not a lot of bad free throw shooters on this team that I can see. I think that might be one of your secrets. They've been a pretty good field goal, 2-point field goal shooting team. Do more of that. Attack the rim and work inside out. Maybe you can start shooting threes once you see the ball go through the hoop, at the rim, or at the free throw line. That's what baby steps. Do something Hoiberg talks about simple plays all the time. Make the game plan simpler. And shooting threes has not been simple for Nebraska. It's not something they do well at all.
I did want to depress you a little bit more. The 3-point shots last night, we know 5 of 35. I've got a number for you, 5 and 36. What do you think that is?
I don't know. 10%?
Well, it's 12%, which is worse than 5 and 35. But it's 5 and 36. That is Fred Hoiberg's record in the Big Ten. It's worse than even their 3-point shooting percentage last night.
I was thinking of 14 wins total the first 2 years. That is depressing. Thanks for sharing that, Bock.
There you go.
I feel terrible.
Does that help?
So you feel bad about 5 and 35. How about 6 and 36?
5 and 36.
5 and 36. That's terrible.
That's a 12%. That's why it feels like the turnaround needs to happen soon, and why the pressure's there and the no answers is that this is year 3. And it is tough to be a Nebraska fan. When Hoiberg and Frost were hired and put together, you just thought, okay, this might take a minute, but these are the best hires that Nebraska's made. I mean, these are relevant hires, and it just neither one of them is taking off. And at this point, I've said all along, it's not fair to lump Hoiberg in there with Frost, but it's year 3, and it doesn't look like a lot of hope right now for this system, at least with this personnel, to take off. And so you're just kind of left with, what do you do? And I think you just have to find out what your team is good at, find out what kind of, maybe you have to carve it down. Maybe only 8 guys can play with whatever system you have.
Yes, because it's like a hockey line right now. 5 new guys, not 2 new guys come in like you saw under Tim Miles.
Yeah.
With 8 guys or 9 guys playing. Nebraska does hockey lines all the time. It's 5 new guys,
or at least 4. I mean, and big substitutions.
I think it's tough sometimes to develop a little chemistry that way. To know always the spacing and where guys are going to be when there's always a new group coming out. And I think that's what he wants to do, like the NBA does. Here's 5 new guys that play the second quarter, or play, the end of the first quarter into the second. He wants to do that. He's treating this like an NBA franchise, but it's not working because you don't have NBA shooters. You don't have NBA talent. We thought maybe it would be better, and I think there's still guys that will play in the NBA on this roster. But Nebraska doesn't need, because I could see it happen. Hey, this is a disaster, so let's try a whole new roster again next year.
Oh, no.
You can't do that.
Not in year 4.
There are guys that aren't going to make it. But that's always going to be the case with any team, and it's going to be the case, I think, with the way that Matt Abdomasi and Fred Hoiberg recruit. That if it doesn't work out, they're probably going to move on. But you don't need 10 new guys next year. That can't happen again. They've got to find a way to make this thing work with the guys that are currently on this roster. And I understand Bryce McGowan's might have an opportunity to play in the G League or even, get drafted high in the NBA. Who knows? That's still on the table. Alonzo Verge is counting on that. I get it. There are guys that are looking to, be here a year or so and move on to something bigger and better, hopefully professional basketball. But Nebraska needs some continuity in the worst way. So this thing.
Well, we thought they had some of that entering this year. That's what's part of the frustration.
Yeah, and this isn't just all a young team. I mean, these guys have been here. The excuses are over, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll still get them. And the excuse this time is, hey, we had some sick guys. I get that. They did. I mean, that's a real thing. The flu has gone around this team. But that effort, I don't care how you feel. The effort has got to be better than what we saw last night because that was atrocious. It was terrible. And
I mean, the game was over in the first half. So
I don't care.
Once you're down that much, I understand why they're chucking up threes and trying to, I get what you're saying, and I know that it's not acceptable. But we've all been in games where you just know you're outmatched and you're down by 20, and if you play another half, you're going to be down by another 20, and that's how it turned out. The first half was the same as the second half. There was no fluke about that first half. They lost 51-32 the first half. They lost 51-35 in the second half.
Here's what Nebraska should do, as long as we're solving all the problems. It kind of reminds me of some of those James Palmer type teams. Just attack the rim. Make it as ugly as you possibly can. Ugly it up. Because that's what it kind of looks like sometimes with the Verge anyway. It's dribble, 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 attack the rim, which you saw a lot in that era. Shields, Palmer, Petaway, that era in general under Tim Miles. Attack the rim, try to get to the free throw line, maybe burn some clock, shorten the game, and use what you do well. Alonzo Verge. I think, Bryce McGowan's could be that guy as well. You have a few other guys that could, score around the rim. I think Derek Walker certainly is that guy. Try to live by the two and get to the free throw line. And then if your three comes around because you're not thinking about it all the time, more power to you.
Well, and I know it would be hard too to kind of put a movement, have too much movement in your offense. Right now, they're all about spacing and kind of, hoping to open the create the open shot that way. But maybe some double screens for a shooter instead of just passing the ball around until somebody has to shoot. So I think they could get some movement. They're pretty good at cutting with what they're doing now. So maybe add to that. But I just think there has to be more than just. Let's sit in our spots and wait for Alonzo to, open it up, small shifts this way or that way. Again, that's the offense. That's the idea for the long term. But you can't. They're not coaching for the long term now. You can't coach to recruit in the future, even though you're coming off a great recruiting class. You eventually have to build and you eventually have to win, and that's where they're at. And maybe again, I'm not as frustrated as everybody else because I think that at least this will show. The coaching staff at least is to the point of so frustrated that they're going to try something else. I think there's enough versatility, enough bodies on this roster that you can put something together better than the product that they're running with the personnel they have now.
Speaking of threes, the best 3-point shooter of all time, or at least he will be, maybe after tonight, Steph Curry. He has one more guy to pass to have the all-time record. Our guy, Celtics, Ray Allen.
I no longer would claim Ray Allen.
I didn't either. Once he left,
yeah.
Went
to the Heat.
I kind of felt the same way, but then I welcomed him back.
Yeah, it was all one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he's a great basketball player. But Steph could do it tonight if he hit 16 threes, which has never happened in an NBA game. He would pass. He would pass Ray Allen. But we'll talk a little bit about that. Some NBA news. Our Celtics were beaten by the Lakers last night. And we'll continue to talk about the new coaches. 3 of them are in the house. Nebraska needs one more. Will it be a running back coach? Will it be a special teams coordinator? What do you want? And we'll take our guesses, our stab at that coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. This is Tom and Bock.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Coppell Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Coppell, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at CoppellCars.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has been your go-to in South Lincoln for years, and their second location in downtown Lincoln is now open. Rosie's downtown spot is Lincoln's premier Nebraska party bar with the Sidetrack Band every Friday night of home games and all day for Nebraska home football games. With 34 TVs that are 65 inches or bigger, you'll always have a great view for all the games. Make sure to check out the new Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, now open in downtown Lincoln at 10th and P.
One-on-one with DP.
What's been the difference?
I think it's a system that I formed for myself. And it didn't start here. Like we've talked about my history. You know, I've played with Michael Porter and Trey Young, and I've played with these guys, you know, and I started playing basketball when I was 8th grade, and I was the tallest dude, and I've just accepted it. I've learned to be okay with it, and I've just made it work for me.
Weekdays from 3 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At the Nebraska Ag Expo, we're passionate about sharing all the latest and greatest innovations and technologies that agriculture has to offer to help increase profits, lower costs, and improve the way you farm and ranch. Grab your neighbor and come on out to this year's show. Visit with nearly 1,700 ag experts, all under one roof. December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Lancaster Event Center. Register online for free admission at NebraskaAgExpo.com. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In girls basketball, number 5 Lincoln Southwest won over number 4 Bellevue East 47-38. Kennedy Williams led all scores with 15 points and came up big on both sides of the court as a two-way player. On Saturday in boys basketball, Lincoln Southeast fell to Bellevue West 80-58. Lincoln High lost in double overtime to Columbus 76-72. Colin Nick for East would finish the game with 20 points. Lincoln East also lost this week to Creighton Prep 54-51. Creighton Prep scored on a three-pointer with 1 second left to seal the game. Lincoln North Star coasted to a win over South Sioux City 71-4. Lincoln Northeast won over Papillion La Vista 63-57. Lincoln Pius won over North Platte comfortably 61-41. Lincoln Lutheran lost to Norfolk Catholic 53-37. Norris won over Northwest 52-36. And Waverly beat Elkhorn 45-24. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606. or learn more at highelectric.com.
Is your furnace or heat pump ready for winter? Call Bryant to schedule your home heating check. Comfortable, safe, efficient. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars, shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
Lincoln's mega liquidation store is here. Wholesale Logistics is now open on West O Street as a bin store with tons of liquidation pallets, appliances, mattresses, furniture, and more. Brand new mattresses 30 to 60% off retail with well-known brands. New furniture also 30 to 60% off retail value. Brand new LG scratch and dent appliances 35 to 40% off retail. Wholesale Logistics purchases truckloads of smaller items from major retailers and throws them into bins, with everything starting at just $8. Get to Wholesale Logistics, open each Friday to Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 2811 West O Street.
You're listening to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Final segment of Tom and Bock. I'm Tom Stevens. He's Jake Bockhoven. Once again, today, Center for People in Need. Get all the baked goods from Beatrice Bakery, including the fruitcake and the liqueurs. They've got amazing cakes, the chocolate cake. We love the lemon drop cake. Go there for your holiday season, man, and order stuff. You can go online. BeatriceBakery.com is where that's located. We were trying to solve Nebraska's hoops problems, but I don't know. Do you think we did, Bock? You think we get some fresh, new ideas for Fred Hoiberg, attack the rim, work the inside out, and you'll have this thing solved by the time that Bryce or Trey McGowan gets back?
I think we solved it all. I think if he just listens to our show, the team will be in the tournament in no time.
There you go. 464-5685. Pregame is coming up within the next 15 minutes or so. I mentioned that Steph Curry is trying to break the all-time record, three-point record tonight. He needs 16 threes, which has never been done in an NBA game. Klay Thompson has the record, 14 threes made. So one of the Splash Brothers has it. So unlikely he'll do it against the Portland Trailblazers tonight. Our Celtics fell to the Lakers last night. LeBron, 30 points, along with Russell Westbrook, who had 24 points. And the Celtics go down 117 to 103 in LA. LeBron said that was one of the best games that they played all year, that maybe they found something or something like that. But they did look pretty good. Yeah, I don't buy either of those teams. I don't think LA is going to be a finals type team. I don't think they're coming out of the West. I don't think they're as good as Phoenix in the West. But we'll see. It's a long season. They did play better last night. Former Husker Will Compton signed yesterday with the Las Vegas Raiders. 32-year-old, hasn't played this season, did play in 12 games for Tennessee last year and 9 games for the Raiders in 2019. Had his best season in 2015 with Washington. Played in 10 games, 122 tackles. Now he does Bussin' with the Boys broadcast.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that he's a lot more known for that than he is for his NFL days. But good to see him to get another opportunity. He's always a good special teams ad. It seems like this is kind of where his career is now. Is that he gets picked up late in the season to help the special teams.
I wonder how much money you can make by just getting picked up, waiting around until somebody picks you up. They put you on the practice squad. Can you make a couple $100,000 doing that? I wonder what. I
don't know.
It'd be interesting to find out.
But it's the same. It's either the Titans or the Raiders that every year will just be like, that Compton guy's pretty good. Call him up again.
That's why Amir Abdullah keeps getting called back by the Vikings. He knows the system, so that's what you do. You go get a guy who's been in your system, who you're not going to teach, everything. Have to teach all the time. He can just jump on the bus while it's still moving.
Well, and it makes sense too. I mean, if you have Will Compton on your roster earlier, you kind of know his upside. You know what he is. He's a special teams veteran. I mean, that's what you have. But if you might want to try out some of your younger linebackers, try to see if there's anything there. And if there's not, then later in the year you make the move to bring back the veteran that'll help on special teams, bolster your team toward the end. So it's kind of it's a cool, especially I mean what he's done with Bussin' with the Boys. He's got a cool little his own little role that no NFL players really ever had, and it's very cool.
Kelsey, Mississippi points out that Amir's now with the Panthers. I get it. He's with the Vikings brought him back like 5 different times after cutting him just this year.
They'd cut him and sign him again.
They would cut him and sign him, and basically so you could keep him on. Somebody would get injured, and you basically tell them that when you cut him, hey, we'll probably resign you once Dalvin Cook gets healthy again, or once They'll probably have to cut you after Dalvin Cook gets
Right.
injured, or that type of thing. So, guys, that happens in the league all the time. If they know the system, you bring them in, and then you probably expect that you're going to cut them. Not too long from that. Nebraska did add another walk-on kicker to the roster yesterday. Charlie Weinrich of Blue Valley North High School in Stillwell, Kansas. Weinrich is apparently considered one of the top walk-on kickers or kicking prospects in general in the Midwest. He chose Nebraska over a few scholarship offers even. He did have a 57-yarder in high school, so that's promising. Nebraska's apparently loading up on kickers right now.
Oh, that's good. You got to find somebody that can do it.
Somebody can do it.
Help a little bit. I mean, that special teams unit, it's not just the specialist, but the specialist didn't help.
Yeah, for sure. The specialists were bad. Everybody was bad on special teams. That whole thing about it just being the specialist is not true. Former Husker quarterback Eric Crouch, of course, won the Heisman, has been inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Crouch was the only member of the 2021 College Football Hall of Fame class to be honored at the National Foundation dinner in Las Vegas. Actually, he and one other was on. I'm trying to think who else was being honored, but he is definitely one of them. Total of 29 players. 3 coaches will be inducted into the ceremony. Carson Palmer is the other one
nice.
that won the Heisman that will be honored as well tonight in Vegas. So that's kind of cool. Crouch is the 19th player to earn induction into the Hall of Fame, 25 overall. So 19 players, 6 coaches have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame.
Did you see this too? And it's kind of just within the last half an hour. Is that Nebraska is in recruiting LSU transfer quarterback Miles Brennan?
Yeah,
that's an okay name. He didn't play a whole lot at LSU, but
what about didn't Brad Johnson's son transfer? The other Johnson, who's the quarterback this past year at LSU. I wonder with that Mickey Joseph connection. The pro style offense with a pro style quarterback doesn't rev me up.
Not with those tackles. I'm sorry.
No,
but not with those tackles.
If they bring it, even if they bring in a Kenny Pickett type, I guess he could move. So he's a little more athletic than some other quarterbacks. But if they go back to the Tanner Lee type quarterback, I'm going to be very frustrated. Even if you want to run a pro style offense, fine. Get somebody who can move in the pocket. Get somebody who can make plays with his legs, because when it all breaks down around him, that guy is really valuable. We saw it a couple of times this year with 70-plus yard runs from Adrian Martinez. You don't have to necessarily run the option, although I would prefer a little option in whatever Mr. Whipple decides to do, Mark Whipple. I want a mobile quarterback. We saw that with Wisconsin. The one time where everybody was really scared of Wisconsin was when they had Russell Wilson. Even if you want to run that style of offense, fine. But give me a guy with legs.
Yeah, and the guys Miles Brennan isn't necessarily that guy, and there's reports from the Lincoln Journal-Star that Scott
Max
Frost...
Johnson is the guy I was trying to think of. Max Johnson, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Brad Johnson was his dad. Played in the NFL.
Yeah, I remember Brad Johnson, Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, played...
But yeah, Miles Brennan, the LSU quarterback that's transferring, Zach Gibson, the Akron quarterback that's transferring. Those are the 2 names that Nebraska's kind of on right now. I think there's one other one, but I can't think of it right now. But either way, those are sit in the pocket type of guys. And you just wonder is that, with the recent offensive coordinator hire, pro style type of idea, is that where they're headed? And I don't think that that's, as for all the reasons you mentioned in their offensive line, I don't think that that's necessarily the best move. But I do think that it's interesting. Those names aren't names that come in and start immediately. They would have to fight off Logan Smothers, and Logan Smothers, just because of his running ability, I would have to think, because he has that extra edge to him, would have to be my favorite. But it depends on what they're trying to do, I guess. But I think as the season would break down, unless they really find answers for their tackle problem, their offensive line problem, I don't think that they have it. And then the other thing is, again, and I hate to say this because I love Dominic Raiola and Donovan Raiola and Dylan Raiola and all that, but I don't know if they hired the most veteran offensive line coach to fix that offensive line that we're worried about.
That's the hire that bothers me so far. Not that Donovan Raiola doesn't have talent. He probably does. He's probably very good. But that's the number one thing I need fixed. So I want to get the guy who's the best handyman around in fixing offensive lines. And maybe it is Donovan Raiola, but it seems like a little bit of a risk, a guy that wasn't the offensive line coach at Chicago, but he did help out. He was among the assistants. That's fine. But the resume, he doesn't have a lot of experience.
No.
He's been an assistant coach with the Bears since 2018. Before that, he was a graduate assistant at Notre Dame in 2015 and 16. Before that, he was an intern with Hawaii.
Yeah. So his college experience really isn't even as an assistant coach. And he was just kind of like a co-helper with the Lions offensive lineman, which that's understating it. He definitely helped there. But I just thought that was the biggest glaring weakness for Nebraska football, that they were going to probably need to bring in a veteran there. They looked at Jeff Quinn, apparently went the other way. But so I don't know.
In fact, if you told me, hey, Nebraska's going to hire Donovan Raiola or Greg Austin, I might be more excited about Greg Austin. I understand it wasn't working out. It wasn't working out with Greg Austin. And you were 3 years in and you were still making the same mistakes. I get it. It's just, it feels like now we're in year 5. Get somebody, you made the mistakes, right? With the first hires, and not necessarily mistakes, but guys that were green, coming to a Big Ten, community with coaches that were, 30 years in. I mean, similar to Mark Whipple. There's a lot of coaches like Mark Whipple in the Big Ten with loads of experience. But where you most needed it, in my opinion, was maybe the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Not that it can't work out. I just think it's a little risky.
And Whipple's interesting. I like the hire overall because he's one of the, he's a Burroughs Award finalist. He's hot right now. He really just helped Kenny Pickett completely turn it around. Maybe he's on to something, but maybe it's Kenny Pickett. Sometimes that also can play into it too. And I think we're learning that even with Frost is that maybe Mackenzie Milton was a little more than Frost. So, you can make your name off quarterbacks, but sometimes you just need the talent. And I don't know, like some of these names, they're not automatic starters. They're in to compete, and I didn't think they were going to get one, but if you have your hopes out there for Spencer Rattler or Quinn Ewers, those are the big names. It looks like they're more going to get a pocket guy to come in compete, and it just further confuses me about what the idea is for this grand experiment. And it's such an uphill battle that I think they had just to get every piece right. And I don't know if it's there yet, but we'll see. Well, watch how it plays out.
One more thought. Logan Smothers could win the job. Heinrich Haarberg could win the job. Those guys are talented young guys with great feet. It could be a guy like Chubba Purdy, who they've offered from the transfer portal.
That's right.
Spent 1 year at Florida State. And
he's a bit of a dual threat.
And he is a dual threat. He can move his feet. Who knows? They might recruit both styles of quarterbacks and see who wins the gig.
I wouldn't mind if they get Purdy and Brennan.
Okay. We'll see. Throw everybody into the pot, into the kitchen, and see who comes out the winner. Let's get to break. We are way late, but we will have the pregame of Rico and Nick will be in here next for the pregame.
You're listening to Tom and Bock. Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Go ahead, let it sleet, let it slush, and let it snow, because the pros at T.O. Haas Tire are ready to help you with a new set of tires guaranteed to get you through it all, like the complete line of Michelin tires, including the X-Ice Snow Tire. And right now, you can get $70 back when you buy any 4 new Michelin tires at the T.O. Haas Tire near you.
T.O. Haas, Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
Is your furnace or heat pump ready for winter? Call Bryant to schedule your home heating check. Comfortable, safe, efficient. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
At the Nebraska Ag Expo, we're passionate about sharing all the latest and greatest innovations and technologies that agriculture has to offer to help increase profits, lower costs, and improve the way you farm and ranch. Grab your neighbor and come on out to this year's show. Visit with nearly 1,700 ag experts, all under one roof. December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Lancaster Event Center. Register online for free admission at NebraskaAgExpo.com. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
You know what? I'll get the bill. Wow, are you sure? Yep, your dinner is on me tonight, bestie. Thank you. That is so sweet of you. You know what else is sweet? My members own credit card rewards. Between the cash back, Amazon rewards, and no hidden fees, I feel like a kid in a candy store. Hey, wait a minute. That's why you're buying dinner? Maybe. Life is sweeter with a credit card from Members Own. Apply for your new card today at membersowncu.org. Limitations may apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Back to Tom and Bock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment of Tom and Bock. DP just brought up a pretty good point to me, talking in the hallway. This team has lost a couple of its leaders, not just Trey McGowan's, who is really kind of the glue of this team, but Matt Abdelmassi, who's going to be gone for a while. I think he's had back surgery recently, and so he's going to be down for a while, and he's taken a leave of absence. And he's the guy that personally recruited and had the connection with a lot of these players on this roster. So not having that guy around, I wonder if that's part of the reason, he had a sickness, he had an illness. I'm not making excuses for Nebraska basketball because that was a bad performance. But sometimes there are explanations a little bit. You can understand it a little bit more in that vein.
Yeah, I understand that. I also is just kind of, I always think that national broadcasting, maybe the players don't pay attention to it as much, but I always think like in the NBA, they do. Like players will put on and show out for NBA broadcasts if they know it's national television. And I thought that would spark them a little bit more. But it didn't. But again, and some people have pointed this out too. Give credit to Michigan. That was a heck of a performance from them. I don't care how open your shots are. It's tough to hit 15 to 32, and they did that. They've got some young players that are coming together. Caleb Houston might end up being the best freshman in the Big Ten. obviously Hunter Dickinson's getting better. So that's a team that started the year top 5. I think they're out of the top 25 now. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the top 10 again by the season's end.
Caleb Houston is a shooter.
Oh yeah.
That's a 5-star stud. And Hunter Dickinson, he's just a beast. I mean, try to push him off his spot, which I think Derek Walker was really trying to get him off his spot. But even if you do that a little bit, he's got such a nice little touch around the rim, a jump hook. He's a bear. I thought of that, last year. I mean, that's really nice to have him. That was kind of a get for him to come back again for his sophomore year at Michigan. That's a team. I said you don't want to play at the end of the year. I guess you don't want to play them now. I thought Nebraska had a chance. I picked Nebraska, silly me. I picked Nebraska to win that game just because I thought Nebraska might be getting Michigan at the right time. And I thought we'd see a little energy similar to what we've seen recently. But we didn't see it last night. Just didn't happen. So that's a Michigan team that I wouldn't want to play the season. And as it turns out, I don't want to play them now either because Nebraska really could do nothing to stop them. Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. We'll get his thoughts on the coaching hires. Of course, that's going to be a big conversation, I would imagine, of your show for the rest of the week, actually, with Mark Whipple, 64-year-old offensive coordinator, of course, coming from the ACC. A good get for Nebraska. And then Donovan Raiola, Chicago Bears offensive line coach, Mickey Joseph. We do know the wide receiver coach. Just one more left.
Yeah, running back switch. It feels
or
like,
maybe special teams coordinator.
Or special teams. It feels like
running back / special teams.
Yeah, it feels like they've been pretty silent on the running back coach front. So right now I'd be leaning towards Ron Brown taking kind of that position.
What I've heard is he might actually coach that position from an analyst, from behind the scenes, be an analyst, and then you hire a full-time special teams coordinator.
Yeah. I'm curious to get your guys' or hear your thoughts on the hires. I like the offense coordinator hire. I think it's good to get an experienced guy in there. Also, being a college roommate of Ron Brown, I think that's helpful with the chemistry there. And look what he did with Kenny Pickett this year. I mean, the offensive numbers speak for itself. ACC champions in Pittsburgh. I thought it was a pretty good hire. It sounds like I know they talked to Miles Brennan. I read. Mm-hmm. From the LSU transfer. So if that's the way their offense is going to go, then that's fine. I want to make this, I want to say this really quick. We've been begging for this offense to change or have some element of change.
Not me.
Really?
I really haven't. I'd like the change to be more effective.
Yes.
But not a change as far as scheme.
Maybe we all agree. Maybe this was a better way to put it. We all agree that something needs to change. There's some element that needs to change.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so what I want to be careful that I personally don't do is criticize them changing, because basically right now they're doing what we've wanted them to do. And we can't really dog it, I guess, until we see how it unfolds. But also with the Donovan Raiola hire, I don't know. Obviously his resume isn't extremely long. I know he played at Wisconsin and played in the NFL. I'm more wondering what that will do for mentality. Because let's be honest, guys, the mentality of this team is not tough. Like it just, especially the offensive line. You don't see guys mauling them like you do other places in the Big Ten Conference. And you wonder what that does for the mentality.
That's a good point, because maybe you need less technique work and you need somebody who just provides an energy in that room. Because I think Greg Austin was a pretty good technician. You hear that over and over. And you also hear about how his players loved him at a high level and they felt guilty that they couldn't save his job. But maybe that room just needs some energy, like a ball of fire to walk in there and say, we're going to do this. To hell with technique. Let's move some guys off the line of scrimmage.
Well, and it's just the guys in that room. I think that was a big part of Greg Austin and kind of what his eventual downfall was he was teaching everything correctly. He was doing his job. It just wasn't translating to the field. So then I guess you question whether or not he was really doing his job. But I think just the mentality of it, Nebraska's missing it. Nebraska's missed the mentality of that mauling, that powerful team. And let's be honest, that'll help out the running game if you have a dominant offensive line. So maybe, who knows? They've tried a lot of things. Maybe it's just a mentality change that they need.
Where are you with the Nebraska basketball right now after a 102-67 loss last night to Michigan?
It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It's horrible. I don't want to hit the panic button. But
yeah, early in the season.
When you come out flat like that against a quality Big Ten opponent at your home on your home floor, it's cause for concern.
Let me ask you guys this: do you feel more hope with Nebraska football with the new coaching hires, or Nebraska basketball right now?
Give me Nebraska baseball.
Nebraska baseball.
There's no answer
I
there.
will opt out for Nebraska baseball.
Once again, Husker women's basketball 9-0.
All right, that's it for the pregame happy hour with Nick and Rico is on the way. I'm going to Florida. Tampa. I gotta go. We'll see you tomorrow, though. He will. Bock will.
Is your furnace or heat pump ready for winter? Call Bryant to schedule your home heating check. Comfortable, safe,